And we're back from nothing ever. This is our first episode.
Real strong energy coming in there, my man.
Brother Sibling Movie. Dun, 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 and this is the theme music, and it's happening. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. We're like, bam, 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 bam. Evan, Mare, and Ev doing cool things.
Brother Sibling Movie.
That's good, actually. You're in a singing mood, so like maybe we just make the theme song right now. Brother Sibling Movie.
Brother Sibling Movie.
It can sound like motherfucking movie, but it's Brother Sibling Movie. Time for a motherfucking movie. It's Brother Sibling Movie. Podcast. Welcome, friends and chosen family, to Brother Sibling Movie, a podcast where two siblings, that's us, talk about movies we love from our childhood, and some that we may be discovering for the first time, centered around a different theme every season. I'm your brother, Evan Kerna.
And I'm your sibling, Herbity Burbity.
Herbity Burbity, you always know exactly what to say. I'm so glad I grew up with you.
No, my name's Mare. My name's Mare Morgan. Hi, everyone.
Mare Morgan. Alliteration is in style this year.
Always, baby.
And this week's movie is Merlin, the seminal NBC miniseries from 1998, airing Wednesdays at 9. I actually don't remember when it aired or how it aired because we never watched it on actual television.
No, we didn't.
We barely had regular television growing up.
God, no. We had taped Sesame Street reruns from the mid-'80s.
Yes. God, I remember those.
Oh my God, me
VHS
too.
tapes that friends of our family would take pity on us hippie, homeschooled, TV-less children.
Because we did not even get PBS. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
So, listeners, loved ones, enemies?
You're welcome too.
You're welcome too, but I was going to ask a question, which was, can you guess what this first season's theme is based on this gem of a little 3-part miniseries? Anybody?
Yeah.
I'll wait for comments. In the back? No one? Well...
I can't hear him.
I can't hear him. I guess you have to tell us.
Well, obviously, it's one of our very favorite niche genres, the one that Mare and I bonded over first as very small children, and the one that was deeply embedded in the very fabric of our movie-watching childhood. It's 90s sci-fi and fantasy films.
Woo, 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 woo!
That's right.
Yeah.
Science fiction and fantasy movies from the 1990s. If you ask me, the 90s stretch all the way to like 2001 and probably as far back as 1989, but you know, we won't. Most of these things are from real 90s.
Like we're going off of the linear understanding of the decade of the 1990s. However, I do think that the 1990s extended until, as you have said, September 10th, 2001. And then it was the 2000s.
Yes, I forget why I picked that specific date exactly, but...
No one knows. It was just like a really... I don't know. It was just like a nice Monday in September, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know. It just like felt different afterwards. So...
Yeah, nothing really super awful or traumatic happening, you know, to people in their personal lives or the national character of the country.
Oh, it didn't... I know for sure that it did not start a forever war. That's something.
We cannot start this podcast on a September 11th joke. We're gonna get fucking murdered. It's okay. Go big or go home. You know, Dave Chappelle started with Clayton Bigsby, like black racist, as his very first skit. So, you know, go big or go home.
I say, you know, if you don't like us at our September 11th-theist jokes, you don't deserve us at our other things. I was like trying to stop myself from saying that as it was coming out of my mouth.
Digging the hole, sibling.
Do it. Yeah, so anyway, that's awesome.
Yes.
But let's talk about, so you've already mentioned we were magical little hippie homeschool kids. Um,
Yes.
and basically we had a television in our home, but we did not have like broadcast television. And that's part of the reason that even though Merlin is a three-part miniseries, we knew it as like a single VHS tape that we got. So
Yeah.
normally we are going to be talking about movies, but we consider this a movie. It's especially near and dear to us. Um,
Yeah. In our
it,
hearts, it's on par with, you know, any big budget action Hollywood movie. And only later did we realize it was made for a tiny box
I
in our living rooms.
lost my ever loving mind when I realized that it wasn't a movie and I realized it was actually three parts. And I'm pretty sure that I called you and was like, "Oh, you gotta get on the thing right now. There's a second, it's a whole thing, and it's oh my god, and there's more, and there's like deleted scenes, and it makes so much more sense." And I was like so excited about it. Because no one else knows this, I would say. The number of people that I have asked, like, "Oh yeah, did you ever watch Merlin from the 1990s?" And they're like,
Hmm.
"Did it have Kevin Costner in it?" And I'm like, "That's Dragonheart, you fucking nerd." Um,
Is that Dragonheart? Is Kevin
I
Costner in
don't know.
Dragonheart?
No, I think Kevin Costner's in Robin Hood. I don't fucking know,
Yes,
dude.
yeah. Dragonheart stars somebody who has been lost to the sands of time.
Lost to the sands of the time. But anyway, yeah, we're very excited to talk about this.
Yes, I
Me,
think also we are millennials, so we spent time outside.
I
I'm just kidding. I'm so sorry, Gen Z listeners. I'm sure you spend time outside too. But yeah, watching television was not a major part of our upbringing. So movies that had themes of the natural world and things growing, people controlling plants and stuff like that, I think struck a nerve with us too at a young age. Um,
I mean, my favorite activity as a child was digging holes. So,
exactly.
and making like shoes out of flower petals and like building beds out of twigs.
Yes. And we don't find a lot of ways, and there's not really an easy way to make a podcast about that. So we decided that, you know what, we should probably make a podcast about movies that we enjoy.
I could make a really good hole digging podcast.
Mm, digging these holes with Mayor Morgan.
Just saying, guys, let me know if you want that. I will make it happen. But yeah, no, this is a yeah, we wanted a chance to chat about movies we love.
Yeah, and we want to take you on a journey through this amazing made for TV movie that was a great piece of bonding material for Meredith and I. But first, we want to give you, our beautiful listener, a little primer on what the concept of this pod and maybe just a little primer of like what would make you want to listen to two weirdos like us geeking out about movies. Yeah, it's important to kind of remind everybody that we're siblings. So we have a little bit of a special dynamic. That's what all the teachers said.
Your fucking mom has a special dynamic, bitch.
Our mom was our teacher for a very long
Our
time.
mom, our
So
mom was our teacher for a very, very long time, and it
yes,
just
homeschooled from me from first to seventh grade. Mare, I believe you until fifth or sixth.
I went K through 6.
K through six. There we go.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, having a sibling is really great, as those of you who have siblings know. And we hope that this podcast makes you want to call your sibling and say hi. That's really the most important thing. Like getting a chance to chat with each other about things that we love and reminiscing about the good, the bad, the ugly of the movies that brought us up, you know. And that's why we wanted to talk about movies that were an important part of our childhood. Because there's something to that. There's something to reminiscing. We're trying to get on that nostalgia train, baby, you know?
Toot
Um,
toot.
but really, really just hope to find a way to make you guys laugh. And hopefully, we'll introduce you to some of the classics from our childhood that maybe nobody's ever heard of and get you to watch some of these things. Um,
Yeah, I feel like some of our picks are a little out of left field and I would say decently niche. Not all of them,
Yeah.
obviously, but there's
No,
a fair
we
number.
had a lot of weird, like, PBS movies and made for TV movies or straight to video movies or a fun fact about our VHS collection growing up, I recall, is that we would
Oh
tend to
my god,
have
Evan,
like
can you give me a fun fact about our VHS collection when we were growing up? I love that. That's
I'm
amazing.
about to. I'm about to.
Oh my god, stop interrupting you then. Wow. This is
We
fascinating.
had we tended to have like the sequels to really popular movies
Oh
on
my
our
god.
shelves.
What the fuck was that? Like, we had
Like we would have
Jurassic
The Lost
Park,
World,
The Lost World, but not
but
Jurassic
not
Park.
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
And I
or we had like Dogma, but not Clerks. You know, it
yes.
was like all of these other movies that were not the main one that everybody knew and loved. I'm almost positive we had like Back to the Future 2 for a while, which is like
Yeah.
fine, but Back to the Future is a superior movie in all ways.
I mean, I don't know why, and I don't know if it's because, like, our parents were very budget conscious and we're getting the, like, cast-offs that nobody wanted, or if it was literally just a, like, uh, our father is a contrarian to the end. I don't know. I don't know. Um, but
That would make a lot of sense.
I
Yeah,
feel like
just
that
like,
makes the
hey.
most sense, but, yeah, we had an interesting collection growing up, and,
Mhm.
you know, I don't own a VHS player. I don't know if anybody does anymore. They must, right? Someone has to.
If we ever inherit any of these VHSs, we're gonna do some hard work to have to watch them again.
They all live in our mother's home. Uh, let me tell you. But,
Let me tell you.
let me tell you. So, um,
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about, our connection with Merlin specifically. When do you remember what do you remember of first watching this movie, even though as children, I'm sure that we were watching it many, many times in a row?
so I don't know that I remember a first time watching this. Like this movie came
How
out
old were you when it came out?
so it I think it aired in '97 and it came out on VHS in '98 or something
Mhm.
around there, so late, 90s, so I'm born in 1990, so I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And I like
87.
okay, that's look, we no one can see you doing stupid hand gestures. That
They can
will
if they're watching the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe and follow.
oh my god. So, I don't remember a first time, but if you don't stop doing the hand motion, I swear to God.
For those of you just listening, I'm trying to distract my sibling by flashing weird hand signals.
This is our entire dynamic growing up. It was like me trying to read something and Evan, like, throwing pieces of, like, pasta at me as I'm like or, like
Durbly, durbly, dur. Hey, Mayor, gotta check if this is al dente. Let me use your forehead. Whoopsh. I'm trying to read Jane Eyre.
this is why people think you are the younger sibling. This is why.
100%.
100%. So, I don't remember a first time. I remember somehow we got it and we liked it, and you and I think just because it's about magic, because it's about the natural world, because it had, like, nymphs and fairies and all of that kind of stuff, I think
Mhm.
you and I just, like, keyed in to it because you were, like, 11-ish at that time.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I think we just both kinda keyed into it and loved all of the sets and the magic, and it's so beautiful, and I've always loved fairy tales and lore and,
Mhm.
and folklore and all of that kind of stuff, and this also set me down a path of getting obsessed with the Arthurian legend. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, same for me. Less
big
about
thing.
the Arthurian legend specifically, but I definitely developed a love of mythology and fairy tales and magic of all kinds. I mean, by this point, I had already seen Star Wars, which at however old I was for, and obviously this is the story of many, many young boys. I'm not special in any way, but yeah, after that movie blew my mind wide open. The Force was sort of like already, that was maybe the first thing besides children's fairy tales you listen to as, young kid at bedtime or whatever. I was like, oh, but like magic as represented on the movie screen is, I don't know, very cool. It got my mind thinking. And as a young person who was getting interested in making movies, you realize like there's so much fun stuff that you can do if you are representing magic on the screen. And I think that this movie, for all of its kind of like cheesy, sometimes the effects are great and
How
sometimes they're
dare
very
you?
cheesy
I mean,
90s TV style,
there's a few
but
in there.
but yeah, but it's always inventive in a way that feels very, exciting and it feels, I don't know. This is really the first time I figured that to me in my head, this Merlin, Sam Neill, is the definitive Merlin,
It is the only Merlin that exists. Like, and also,
Yeah.
let's just also, before we start talking about the actual like story and plot and whatever,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
want
we're going to
everybody
dive deep.
I want everybody to know, if you have not watched this film, it is a fucking star-studded cast. Sam Neill plays Merlin, Martin Short, Helena Bonham Carter, Michelle Richardson,
The
Rutger.
great and incomparable Isabella
Oh
Rossellini.
my God, Isabella Rossellini, Italy's pride. Fucking Headley is in this.
Yeah, Lena Headey. Yeah, that's crazy. She's Guinevere, which is so wild.
Oh my
That
God,
was a surprise on this particular viewing. Like, whoa, what? Seriously?
it's also like, wow,
Hot girl?
you've been hot for 30 years and talented and beautiful and stuff. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, it is amazingly cast. It is incredible. Like, the cast
Yeah.
alone is worth watching this film, and Sam Neill is 10,000% like Merlin. TM.
Yeah, how the producers, Robert Helm Jr.
No,
Damn, I forget his name now.
no,
How this producer director team got this cast and
I
paid for them or
don't know.
convinced them through blood magic to join the Rutger Hauer is in this as
Yeah,
Vortigern.
like,
It's nuts.
no, it's insane. It's insane. But yeah, the cast alone is worth watching this film for. It not even to talk about like the incredible writing, the amazing music, the
Mhm.
beautiful like set pieces and costumes and production design and everything. It's really amazing. And it's like the Arthurian legend. Like, who doesn't fucking love it? It's the most traditional like tragedy story. It's like the you can't get away
It's
from your fate kind of thing.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah, it's the kind of stuff that Jungian psychologists love to use to describe inner work to you.
Really?
Well, maybe not Merlin specifically,
Oh,
but
okay.
yes, Arthurian legends and stuff. Robert
Oh,
Johnson,
right,
a
'cause it's
Jungian psychologist, has a whole book called He and She. She uses a Greek mythology to describe female psychology, and he is a story about, I believe, Galahad going on a
oh,
quest.
the biggest simp in
Anyway,
history. Um,
poor Galahad.
Poor Galahad, poor bud. But anyway, so yeah, that's the preamble, but I think maybe what we can do is like do like a loose description of the plot, and we can just sort of chat about it as I go. Does that sound good?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
sweet.
You've written a beautiful synopsis for us that we can read or
I'll
go
just
off of. And
I I exist for the off the cuff moment, really. Is
don't
is
we all?
is sort of just my forever vibe, which I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm sorry for, but also I cannot change. I've tried. It
Yeah.
doesn't
So
work.
don't try. We're gonna get to that, but if we had any sponsors, this is where we would take a quick commercial break and be right back. But we don't have any, so we'll stay right here.
Yeah, we're not making any money from this. This is literally for shits and giggles. So
As Craig
anyway,
Mazin says from Script Notes, This shall continue forever to be a money-losing endeavor.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, I'm already in the hole for audio equipment. I don't see why we should stop now.
It would be
So
nice to make money back for the audio equipment, but
it
we'll
would.
get there one day.
All I need is $140, guys. That's it. Like, that's so easy. If
Yeah.
$140, it's not hard.
Yeah.
I'll give
So
you.
why don't you kick us off with a synopsis,
Okay.
Mare, and I'll jump in as necessary, and we can both comment on things that we liked.
All right, love it. So like I said, this is a 3-part mini series.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep hearing a little bit of crackle. Do you hear any of that?
It genuinely might just be my voice.
I'm pretty.
I have been shouting all day.
Yeah. No, I know. I do want us to make sure that our levels okay
Is
and
this
go down.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna turn my monitor down a little bit. Does that? Okay, that's fine. I think maybe I just need to be a little farther away from the mic.
Maybe. Yeah, the crackling sounds like it could be. Okay, I don't want to get deep into the weeds right now. We're on a good roll, but I just was like, "Ooh, I don't want us to have gone through all of this and suddenly be like, "Oh no, we're crackly or something."
Okay.
Yeah, maybe just hit your connections. I'll hit mine and just make sure. It probably is just a levels thing, but just in case, just want to make sure we got our bases covered.
Yeah, should be good.
If I notice it anymore, I'll try to stop you at some natural stopping point and address it again. But I think we're good.
I love it.
Love it. And
so, like I was saying, Merlin is a 3-part series, so I'm kind of trying to structure my recap in the 3-part arc, if you will.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
And Merlin, essentially, unlike a lot of the eponymous Arthurian legend, Merlin does not center around Arthur. It centers around Merlin. Who knew? What a
Big
crazy
surprise.
idea. I know, big surprise. But it really centers on the character of Merlin, who he is, his struggles, his like trying to change things that he can't really change or is trying to, and those sort of internal and external struggles. So it's a really beautiful character piece.
Yeah. Who honestly is the better character to
He's
follow through this whole thing because
dude.
he's there for all of it. There's so much shit you have to describe
Also,
before Arthur gets born that's
also,
important.
he's a fucking wizard.
Right.
Like, do
He's
I have
so
to
much
say it?
cooler.
Why do I want this fucking like bratty little whoever the fuck when I could be talking about a literal wizard?
That's right.
Like, okay, anyway, he's a wizard. It's the best. So, also, I just want to say in this recap, and Evan will probably stop me for listeners' sakes, but this story is straight up name salad. It is just like the bajillions of names that exist in like roughly Iron Age-ish Britain with all the
This is true.
lords and all of the kings and the queens and the fairies and the underlings and the servant, and it just is like blah, fuck me, there's so much.
It's not as bad as House of the Dragon, which is like 8 of the characters are named the exact same fucking thing, and they all have blonde ass platinum blonde hair. Like,
I hate
how am I supposed to tell these people apart? So, luckily, these people at least look different.
They look very different. I mean, they are all white, but that's fine.
White?
This is
How white are they?
so
What part of Britain
white.
are they from?
They're from Britain. There's no W.
Welcome to our ASMR episode where we just say WH words. What? Why?
When? Look,
Wow.
our mother was big on elocution.
Yes.
So, okay. So yeah, that's kind of the backdrop of this. There's a lot. I tried very hard to pare it down, but there is just so much in this story. So, okay.
Yes.
So starting off in part 1, the series.
Oh, sorry, that was part 1. That was Not wait a second. Sorry. Oopsie doodles.
You anytime
I
I
forgot that this is our universal signal for hold up, we have a problem.
literally though, I was like, okay, I will stop
Houston,
talking.
your XLR cable is out.
I know, I was literally like, and I will now immediately stop talking so we can fix an issue. So,
Sorry, yes, part one, my
fucking
bad.
Evan throwing me off my game. Okay, part one. The series starts out with a very old Merlin, who is still Sam Neill in like fucking awesome makeup. Like
The best.
so good, so good. But he's an old man and he's sitting around a fire and he's basically telling his life story in like a town square. And we kind of like go back to when he was a child and when he's born. And
Ah, yes, my favorite, the woobly woobly woo editing transition.
yeah, it's a classic of modern cinema.
Yes.
Um, so basically, he starts this story out kind of recounting his very early life and how he and sort of the larger, I don't know what you would call it, magical system almost of Queen
Yeah.
Mab.
The pagan ways.
The pagan ways. Like this is the pagan religion. Queen Mab is the queen of the old ways, quote unquote, and there's all of these like fairies and gnomes and things, and it's awesome. So,
They
um,
make a very big point of giving you a little teaser since it's a TV movie of like, we know that this is just an old man in makeup talking, but trust us, it's gonna get good, guys. So they're like, here's a really bad CG griffin, and here's like a shitty little fairy flying through the air, and here's a dragon, and you're gonna see these things if you keep watching. So keep
yeah.
watching.
So keep watching. So basically, you know, he Queen Mab is sort of the main adversary in this whole storyline, or she is Merlin's main like foil, if you want to think about it that
Mhm.
way. And
Yeah.
she essentially is seeing the rise of Christianity in Britain and is like, I do not fuck with this monotheistic bullshit. And
I am not down. Queen
I
Mab.
don't
Direct
need no
direct quote.
man.
Mm-mm.
Not a father, a son, or a Holy Spirit,
That's
bitch.
right. You can
So
save them all for somebody else because I ain't buying.
I'm not fucking buying.
She's an independent woman, you know.
This is gonna be the whole podcast. This is just riffing if you don't let me finish.
I'm
Um,
trying to make it. I'm trying to let the
no,
listeners have a good time
you know
while
what?
also learning about the ins and outs of this great, great movie.
You are the tahine to my jicama. So
I try. I do my
thank
best.
you. Thank you. So basically, Queen Mab is like, I need to create the greatest wizard that this world has ever seen to bring England back to the old ways, to bring Britain back to the old ways of magic. And so she crushes a crystal and makes Sam Neill.
Sorry, can you take that sentence from the top? I think hopefully on your end, the internet connection just interrupted for a second. So
Oh,
it's
sure.
probably fine on your end, but
It
if you
was
could just
fine on
start
my
that.
end.
Okay, cool.
What is the sentence that I just said?
Let's just assume that you got it on your end because I don't remember.
Great!
Fuck.
Fucking awesome. So anyway, so Queen Mab makes him. She basically does, she has like a little Jesus moment and like impregnates a girl herself. Mab does. So the Merlin does not have a mortal father. He is like a being of magic. He's half magic and half human.
Yeah, he's like
And
medieval Jesus.
he is, and he's better. Do you know why? Because he's a forest wizard, not a desert wizard. And he
Yes.
doesn't have friends.
There isn't enough sidebar. There's not enough lore or retellings of the Jesus story with Jesus like being a wizard. Like he does all this magic stuff,
Dude,
but
okay.
nobody's like he's a wizard. It's like so obvious. Like
I know, they're
he
like,
turns water into wine.
I
like
no, dude, this is
he like speaks with demons, the literal devil. Like that's wizard shit.
dude,
He's like consulting the runes probably.
this is straight up. I am if you would like to subscribe to my newsletter about how Christianity would be so much better if Jesus was depicted as a wizard because that is what he is. He uses magic.
He
Um,
already wears the big robe, has a big old
he's got the
Gandalf beard.
beard. He's like wandering around doing crazy shit, going on like internal quests to learn the mystical arts. Like he's a
He just
wizard.
didn't he just didn't have time to get old and be all wizardy the way that we think of wizards.
No, because much like witches, he was fucking killed.
I bet if he made his way through the crucifixion, like maybe like within 5 years of there, he would have gotten a pretty nifty big wide-brimmed hat, nice and pointy,
Dude, could you
going around
imagine?
Jerusalem just like
I make this
I got a
shit
sweet
look
hat now,
good.
guys, and a staff.
Dude, a
uh,
fuck. Oh my god. Didn't she? No, that was Moses. Moses was a shepherd. He had a staff.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, Jesus of Nazareth, Desert Wizard is another pitch we will be pitching later. But right now we're on Merlin,
Merlin.
Forest Wizard, and his
Merlin of
early upbringing.
Merlin of Britain, forest wizard, and his early upbringing. So basically, he's raised. His mother dies, which is Queen Mab's fault. His mother dies. He's raised by this lovely old woman, and he basically becomes this like strapping young man. And one day, when he's in a forest, just like sleeping in a tree, like you do, because he's
Just
like,
chilling.
because
Yeah. He looks like he's on the campus at UC Santa Cruz.
10,000 fucking percent,
It's
yes.
like, I'm just reading my geography of surfing textbook, and what's this?
And I'm in a tree. It's cool. Who's that hottie? So this really hot young lady comes through with her like retinue of people. Her name is Nimue. She's super hot. Um, he like kind of scams a kiss out of her in a way that isn't creepy, but it for sure could have been. But I'm gonna just feel like it's not.
It's the 1998 very, very low leveled sexual assault,
It's the lowest.
playbook.
It's the lowest. It's the lowest. But anyway, so then at some point she goes off. She falls into this pit and dies. Well, no, sorry. Oh my god. No, she doesn't. Jesus Christ.
Wait a minute. That makes it a very different story.
Oh no. Oh, I fucked up so bad. She does not die at all. She goes off on her own path because again, much like Mab, she don't need no man, but actually she
Mhm.
does because she's screaming. She falls into this like bog thing and Merlin finds her and goes to save her and he's like,
Like a good Christian. I mean pagan, whatever he is. He doesn't really
it doesn't matter. It doesn't
doesn't
matter what
matter.
his religion is. He's like, I am the religion, bitches. So
That's right.
he grabs a stick to let or like a branch to get to Nimue, pull her out of the bog, right?
Mhm.
And then his wood gets so long.
It starts elongating
Starts
and we are
elongating and really sprouting, just really sprouting out.
this is literally what
No,
happens
it's literally
and
what happens.
we are as viewers who watch this as children and now watching it as adults are left to wonder, was this in there intentionally on the part of the writers? I mean, it's a great metaphor. He's like, let me save you with my hard engorged wood,
That I
beautiful
am
lady in the bog.
that you are making grow because you are awakening my magic. My magic's what I call my dick. It's me, Merlin.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Magic is just arousal.
it's just it's just getting fucking horned up and ready to go.
Oh
So
yeah.
anyway, so that's kind of the first part. All this shit happens. I'm already so in the
Oh,
weeds on this.
Before we move on, is this young actress playing Nimue before Isabella Rossellini takes over a little bit later? Is she doing an Isabella Rossellini impression? Because
I
that's what it sounds like.
Okay,
And if it is, she's doing a great job.
okay, so I don't think she is, and I genuinely think in, like, post-production that Isabella Rossellini is saying the lines and the girl is, like, mouthing them. Like, I think it's a dub over
Hmm.
because
I could see that too.
it sounds so precisely like Isabella Rossellini that I'm like, "That's a pretty hard voice to, like, get
I could
pitched
see that as a
perfect."
decision I could see that as a decision from the filmmakers, like, they either wouldn't have thought about letting the young actress, like, try to imitate her, and then they were like, "Oh, wait, she sounds like she's just normal English, but Isabella Rossellini sounds like she's from Norway." I mean, Italy probably,
I
right?
don't know where you're from, sorry.
Or they would have told her on set, like, "Hey, this is what our lead actress, who is much more famous than you, sounds like. Try to do an impression of her." And if it didn't sound good, then they would have been like, "Well, we have to fix that in post." So, like,
Yeah,
it would be a big thing if it was like, "Oh, this doesn't
this doesn't work.
young Nimue needs to sound like old Nimue," you
Yes,
know? So,
exactly,
anyway,
and I don't know, it's a good question. It's a good
yeah.
question, but basically
Either way,
that whole interaction essentially is him coming of age, realizing that he has magic, and then this fucking sick as shit horse just shows up to take him to Queen Mab because the deal with the old woman that raised him, uh, raised Merlin, was basically once he has power, like once he comes into his magical power, he is mine. You send him to me, Mab, the queen of the old ways. Um,
yes, I am Queen Mab. Speaking of, there's an important moment to set up here that Queen Mab early on goes to talk to her sister, the Lady of the Lake,
oh
and
my god, I forgot.
they are kind of like uh the the Wicked Witch of the West to the Glinda the Good Witch kind of
Yes,
dichotomy going
yes.
on. Like the Lady of the Lake is kind of like beautiful and serene,
And she's
and
all
Queen
in
Mab
white
is like,
and very like, the
yeah,
highlighter budget for her was insane. It's just like
yeah,
glitter face, and she has a
yeah, and
necklace that's made of fish
yeah.
that, like, goes
Yes,
around
that
her
was
neck.
so cool. I
Oh, I
love that
love
little
that.
digital fish neck where
Oh,
the fish kind of fly.
so
And
good.
then Queen Mab is kind of like the Hot Topic Tim Burton special.
Oh
She's
my
like,
god, yes.
her dress looks like it's made out of cobwebs and
And
rhinestones.
she's like, and she always is wearing, like, black and purple, and, like, it's all very, I think of, like, Enya kind of,
There
like
you go. She's Inya-ish. Both played by Miranda Richardson
both
too.
both played by Miranda Richardson, who is a fantastic character actor, just
Mhm.
truly awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, the
Shout
Lady of
out to MR.
shut up. But, yeah, the Lady of the Lake, Queen Mab, blah, blah, blah. So basically, Merlin now is, like, going off to
He's coming to the realm of magic.
yeah, I know, I was like, he goes to question mark. He, like, crosses a lake in a magical boat, and then,
He
like
goes through some fog, and
and
there's, like,
it's
some
misty,
fairies and some
and there's,
ogres
like
or something, and then he's in
oh
a cave, and it's, like, in a weird place that doesn't make totally logical space sense, but it's like
but
magic
it's
is running
magic
the
and it's cool. And then he is greeted in this, like, tunnel into the whatever magical world where Mab lives
Oh,
by
yes.
the
Mhm.
one, the only Martin Short playing Frick, who is an
Flick.
Fwick. Hello, Fwick. That will make sense later. So Frick is a gnome. He is basically Queen Mab's lackey.
Mhm.
He's like the go-to guy, whipping boy, whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
He's this movie's Gollum in a lot of
yes.
ways.
He even kinda looks like him, honestly, with the, like, creepy eyes and the, like, big nose and the whole thing. Um, Martin Short, the character of Frick is, like a shapeshifter kind of. He uses, like, illusion magic a lot, and that's only notable to state because he does run through a few, what could be politely termed, racist characters when he meets Merlin. Um
Yeah, one could also say very racist
I would
characters.
I would say very racist characters. Um,
Yeah, it's an impression of an old Mandarin man, and it doesn't hold up to
it
today's
does
scrutiny. It's pretty bad.
not hold up.
It's like,
Um,
ooh, this is
but
ooh. That was the
it
90s.
was the 90s. So
It
the
was the 90s. Do you
90s.
know that guy on
I fucking
YouTube?
love that guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's amazing. Shout out, my friend.
I know. I learned about him from Java Doodles Thompson or something. Anyway,
Something
we'll
like
put a
that.
link in any description place so that everybody can
I
watch his
don't know.
hilarious
He's
videos. They're great.
hilarious. But yeah, so then Merlin basically goes through learning magic, like the process of learning magic. And I think what's interesting,
Yeah, he goes to wizard college.
he
It's
does. He
really
goes to
more like
wizard college.
wizard high school because he's like 16 or 17.
Yeah, something like that. But he,
What do they call it in Britain? Wizard primary?
I don't know, he's doing his GSE levels. That's a
That's
thing.
right.
I don't fucking know,
He's
dude.
learning all about the wizarding ways. He's getting an
The
MBA in
wizarding ways.
wizardry. Yeah, in
But
illusions
what's
and hand magic.
cool, so yes, so what's really cool about this film as a, like, when you think about fantasy and sci-fi movies, you think about the world building, but especially you think about magical systems. And
Mhm,
what's really cool about this magical system is it really seamlessly blends a lot of different ideas about quote unquote magic. So,
mhm.
yes, there is innate ability, and you have to hone that skill and study to get better at magic, which is kind of like
Right.
being an artist. Um,
Yeah, I developed a lot of ideas about artistry and magic as a young
oh yes.
person
And this
based on
is
watching this movie, and it is really cool to see like, oh yeah, they do a really good job of being like, yes, you kind of there is something that you're born with, a talent or a skill, but it's also a thing that you can learn from books and from practice, and you can get better at it the more you do it. It's not
yeah,
just like some Harry Potter, like, I guess their whole thing is that they're going to
they're at
school to get better
fucking
at magic,
school
so
the
that
whole
doesn't
goddamn time.
the
But it's
metaphor doesn't hold up.
that metaphor doesn't hold up. But it's basically it's that thing of, yeah, you have innate talent, but you have to practice. And what I think is also really cool is that they go over this thing of there's three types of wizards. And this is a theme that kind of runs throughout it. And the system is basically there are like wizards of words who use like spells and incantations to use magic, and they're the lowest form. And then the second form of magic is hand magic, which is what every lesbian has. Um,
Ayo!
anyway,
Talk
um,
about that dildo magic next.
I've been told by the
Anybody
ladies.
got fisting magic? Anybody got a level 5 in fisting?
I've been
I
told
want that
by
to be my next D&D character.
I've been told by some of the ladies that I'm a bit of a hand wizard. If you know what I mean?
Yes.
So there are hand wizards, and
Mhm.
hand wizards use their hands to cast spells, not words. And then there are wizards of thought. Like you just think a spell or think the thing that you want to happen and it happens. And that is the kind of wizard that Mab is. She thinks things and they happen.
Yeah,
And
she's a badass bitch like
she's
that.
a
She's been around
badass
for
bitch.
thousands of years.
But what's really cool also is that because Merlin is half human, you see him in this first part like struggling to become the wizard that he was intended to be. Like Mab had this path set out for him of you are going to be the savior of Britain, you are going to be the most powerful wizard that ever happened, but he's like a homesick teenager and just misses home and has this sort of thing of like, I don't give a shit. Like I don't
Doesn't
fucking
care.
care
He
about
doesn't
this.
care about magic.
He doesn't care about magic, and so he never progresses beyond quote unquote never progresses beyond being a hand wizard. so called. And that's like Mab gets really mad and she does her fun little speed up walk. She has this really fun, Evan can explain what it is. I don't know what it
Oh
is.
yeah, we can pause to describe. There, so part of the charm of this movie too is, along with the Arthurian legend bits and the great acting, there's a lot of great, like, in camera visual effects
Yes.
wizardry going on as well. Um, One of the really cool things that I think that they utilize a lot in this movie is using what in animation terms is called pixelation. So that's a term that it doesn't mean like the mosaic tile thing or 8-bit pixel art, but pixelation refers to, basically animating human beings stop motion style. So you would have a person
Mhm.
standing in a place and then you would take a frame of film and then have them move rather than filming them contiguously walking like you would with actual
Right.
film. You would take an image of them in one different place so that it starts to look like they're floating as
And
you
it
put the
has
frames together.
and because of that, it has this kind of like herky-jerky style, and it's a super old technique, and I mean, it's still used
Mhm.
today, as Evan said, in stop motion animation. That's what stop motion animation fucking is.
Yeah, there's an animator filmmaker called Starovich who does this a lot. He does it with puppets, but essentially he leaves the aperture open on the camera longer, so you get these kind of
Oh,
like
interesting.
artifacts of like, when you take a image and if you don't stand still you get kind of like that blurry thing
Mhm.
on the sides where movement's happening, so like you add some of that in and you get this cool like motion blur that's kind of chaotic
Oh,
but you
that's
still
interesting.
feel the motion. So anyway, they do a trick like that a few times. There's a few different kind of like, um
It's basically like
stop
when
motion time frame things that they do throughout, and this one is really great where Mab is kind of like so mad, she's like, I forget
doesn't
her
like
line, but she
it?
kind of, yeah, he doesn't like it. She kind of just like weirdly kind of floats around like a
But it's
puppet.
but it's really cool though because they don't do it all the time, and it's a very
Mm-mm.
specific visual language that they're saying, like, this is a thing that Mab does when she's mad, and it has to do with magic for some reason because that's what magic looks like, and it's
Yeah,
awesome.
and I think it's cool that they use that in this movie because there's other parts where they're using kind of like not great 90s CG, which is fine, but
It's
this
fine.
stuff really kind of like, it grounds it in the physical techniques of the actual camera work, which makes it
Yeah.
feel more organic, like it makes it feel like the magic has more connection to the earth or the natural world. So
Yeah.
it's always, and they do this a few times throughout the movie. There's a scene later on in Avalon where they use uh, uh, uh,
The, like,
time.
flashes.
Yeah, no, I'm think oh my god, I can't time lapse. They use
Time
time lapse
lapse!
photography to get the water to
Oh,
come in
yeah.
really fast, which is
Yes.
very cool too. It's like, "Oh, they just filmed the tides, but they, like, filmed it really fast?"
Yeah.
So,
No, it's
anyway,
really
there's a lot
cool.
of great little things.
It's a fun era in cinema because digital was, like, just coming on the scene but still
Yeah,
there were so many people that were making films and movies and television that were practical effects people,
yeah,
and so it's a really cool blending of the 2. But anyway, basically, I don't know what else happens in this first part. I'm going so off script. This is gonna take for fucking ever, but I think it's
I
fine. Who
know.
gives a shit?
Oh, so Merlin gets fed up and decides to go back to Auntie A, who is his caretaker.
Ambrosia, who is
Ambrosia.
10,000% who I wanna be when I'm older.
10,000% who you already are.
She is old. She is cantankerous. She does not give a fuck. She lives alone in the woods. It's awesome. She's
Check,
so
check,
cool.
check, check.
I know, I'm
You're
so
doing
close.
it, Mare. You've gotten
I'm
there.
I'm so close. But yeah, so Merlin goes back to Auntie A and she's sick. And Ambrosia and Mab like fucking hate each other. They do not vibe. And basically
Mm-mm.
Mab ends up killing Auntie A in front of Merlin, which, like, if you're trying to get on this kid's good side, is like the wrong move. So then Merlin
He's like,
basically,
humans don't matter. And he's like, what the hell? She
what the
raised me,
fuck?
you
She's
stupid
my like,
bitch.
she's essentially my mom. Like
Yeah.
she raised me. Oh, and also you killed my biological mother. Get fucked. So Then Merlin, because he's a
Queen
dwarf,
Mab's not doing a lot of things to ingratiate
she's like
herself to
super
this
not.
young child.
Super
Mm-mm.
not. But then in a super like angsty teenage rage, he like cuts his hand over Ambrosia's grave and is like, I swear that I will only ever use my magic to destroy Queen Mab. And then it's like fucking sick.
Yeah,
Um,
it's super metal.
it's like so fucking metal. So anyway, okay,
They
so
do a great version of like transitioning between these two things too, because they like are on teenage Merlin and he's like seasons came and seasons went, and you kind of like see all the flowers and the
and it like
leaves
and the camera
changing.
pans over then from looking at him in the front of his face to looking at the back of his head as the
Yeah.
seasons are changing, and then when it comes back to the back of Merlin's head, who's that? Fucking
Sam motherfucking Neill,
it's
bitch! This is
Sam
our fucking
fucking
Merlin man.
Neill. It's Sam
Oh
fucking
man.
Neill, the favorite son. We all love him. He's great. Amazing.
Jurassic Park. Um
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Hunt for the Wilder People. Sleeping Dogs.
Merlin. I
I'm gonna
can't think
make
of
sure
anything
that's the
else.
name.
I can't think of
Yeah.
anything else at the top of my head, but that doesn't matter. So basically, okay,
I
so
hope that Sleeping Dogs is a good enough.
I know.
Wait.
Essentially, like Sam Neill is a
It's
fantastic
not called Sleeping
actor.
Dogs.
Sam's
Yes, we
he's a
love him very
he's a
much.
fantastic actor. We love him very much. You should too. So basically, that kind of ends like the first part. So now, uh, so now we're kind of setting up this whole thing where Merlin then. Okay, sorry. Let's back up. There's this guy. He's a total dickhead. His name is King Vortigern. He is the king of Britain currently at present. Is it Sleeping Dogs? Is that why you're
It is
excited?
called Sleeping Dogs. Yes.
Shit, yeah. I'm very proud of you.
1977. It's the first movie that he was in New Zealand that got big in
Wow.
America and brought him over to America. It's not
Wow.
a great movie. It's a very like it's like a New Zealander's idea of what a Hollywood movie's supposed to be. So it's
I
like
love
taking
that.
itself very seriously, but it's also like very funny.
I love that.
There's some great scenes in it though. It's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination, but
I love that. So anyway, so at this point, King Vortigern, he's this tyrant. He's killed this other king to become the da 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 da. He's trying to build a tower. And
yeah, we're in a kind of feudal warlord system where nobody has
let's
really
not say kind
united
of,
any of the various huh?
very. Let's not say kind of,
Uh,
very.
sure. We're in a very feudal warlord kind of situation.
Yeah.
Vortigern is like the strongest, so he's like, y'all are my bitches now, and everyone's like, that's fine. Nah, okay.
It's not a big deal. Um, and so and so basically, King Vortigern is trying to build this tower, right? Like a lookout tower, and it keeps falling. And these poor architects, like these poor medieval architects, are keep like, it will stand this time, and then it falls down, and all these guys die, and it's crazy. And then the next one is like, it will stand this time for sure, and then it happens again.
Yeah. And Vortigern, Rutger Hauer,
Rutger
BTW, is like,
Hauer.
kill him. And everyone's like, man, I guess we kill the
I
architect.
guess we got to do it now. So then this soothsayer who's like wearing this like sick ass like big like metal like plate thing. I don't know. It's cool. Like he
Oh,
looks
this
sick.
guy is so great. He's
He's
like
so
in the
good.
movie for maybe like 10 minutes of
10
total
minutes
screen time, but I'm
total.
like, this guy
Dude,
slays as this
steals
weird old
the show.
soothsayer.
Steals the show. So
Yeah.
basically, King Vortigern like goes to the soothsayer and is like, "Yo, what the fuck? Why is my tower falling down?" And the dude is like, I don't know, but I'll look at my stones because I'm a soothsayer. And then he basically goes to a bunch of standing stones and is like, I don't fucking know, dude. Like, that's not my area of expertise. I'm not a civil engineer. I'm a fucking wizard. What is wrong with you? And then
Yeah.
Queen
Peter
Mab.
Woodthorpe, 1931 to 2004, is an English character actor.
Oh, he's
Okay,
great.
anyway,
He's great.
soothsayer.
So then, anyway, when he's like having a little crisis of faith, Queen Mab shows up and she basically says, look, the only way that you're going to get that tower to stand is if you spill the blood of a man with no mortal father and mix it with the mortar. of the tower, and that's the only way it will stand. Essentially, she's like just put out a magical hit on Merlin, because then the guy is like, "Where can I find somebody like that?" And she's like, "I know a spot."
I was gonna say, like, does this actually make the mortar stronger? It sounds like she's just coming up with an excuse to murder
Bro, she's trying
Merlin.
to fucking murder him. Like, she's like, "I don't it's not gonna change anything. I just, like, want this guy got." So anyway,
Yeah,
Merlin goes to King Vortigern, and King Vortigern is like, "Cool, just, like, murder him." And Merlin is like, "Actually, I'm super smart and hot and, like, cool and stuff, and the reason that your tower won't stand is because there's water underneath it. Like, there's a
yeah,
stream
you dumb
here.
fuck.
You dumb fucks. Did nobody do a survey? Like, nobody?"
Yeah,
Um,
what are these architects doing?
yeah, what are they even doing? There's water coming out of it, like, the foundation's unstable, that's why it keeps falling. And then, Merlin has a vision, because Merlin gets vision. So then he meets King Vortigern, and he has this vision of these 2 dragon flags, and they're, like, like, fighting each
You know,
other in the
he's
wind.
like, I love how he's like, I have a vision, two dragons fighting,
It's
and then
flags.
it cuts to two flags with dragons on
It's
them. You're like,
flags.
all right, no one's wasting their visual effects money on this vision, but it's a very cool way to do it.
Very cool
That
way to
being said, not actual dragons.
not act super duper not actual dragons, they are flags.
Somebody's like, "What's this line item? A dragon fight
No, no,
for
no,
a
no, no.
metaphorical? How about it's flags, you guys?"
Come on.
Director's like, "Okay, it can be
Fine.
flags."
So it's basically a white dragon and a red dragon, quote unquote, fighting, and the red dragon overtakes the white dragon. And King Vortigern's crest is a white dragon. And so he's like, "What the fuck? Like, I'm gonna get defeated by somebody with a red
Can
dragon."
anyone? Yeah, can anyone guess who has a red dragon flag from ancient Arthurian mythology? It's well, I'll let you
We'll
Google
get
his
there in a
name.
second. But
Yeah.
basically, King Vortigern is like, "Cool, you are my magical oracle person now, so I'm gonna lock you in a dungeon so that you have more visions, because that is how the creative process works. Take away all of
Yep.
your comforts and put you in a highly stressful situation, and then you'll totally come up with good ideas, right? Obviously, we all
Yeah.
know that."
But hey, he's got one saving grace and creative muse inspiration, if you
Oh,
will, because
who is it?
whose father
Who the fuck
works
is
for
it?
King Vortigern?
Who is it?
It's Nimue father. Turns
That's
out,
right.
love of Merlin's life, Lady Nimue is here in the camp, and she's ready to get down in that dank and dirty dungeon, cavern,
He's ready to get
prison
down in
cell
her
that he's
dank and
in.
dirty dungeon.
Oh,
So
yeah,
basically,
exactly. Nimue's there.
Nimue is there, and it's amazing. It's Isabella Rossellini, who is the most ethereally beautiful woman ever, ever.
Yeah, she looks just like this.
She looks like a Gila monster. Um,
Yes.
eh, she spits poison. Um, so
she's a she's a dinosaur in Jurassic Park. She totally would be. I
dude,
want to
that
sign a petition to get Isabella Rossellini as a dragon in the next Jurassic Park
yes,
movie. That'd be
done.
so
Yes,
sick.
dude. Watching her
She'd
do
kill it.
a, like, mating dance as a praying mantis in whatever that, like, weird ass horny
Oh
series
yeah,
was
if
that she
anybody want,
did.
yeah, if yeah, two other great Isabella, I mean three, I mean okay, Isabella Rossellini must see movies. There's four of them I can name. Merlin, obviously, Blue Velvet, duh. Marcel the Shell with shoes on, love it to the moon and back.
Got you.
Four, Green Porno. It's a
Yes!
series that she did where she plays insects making love and killing each other.
And
It's a series of short films that I believe she directed and stars in. It's
oh
incredible.
god.
It's one of the best things ever made.
It is like there are few pieces of truly perfect art in this world, and that is one of them. Like, those short films
That's
are
one of them.
that is one of the things. But
Yes.
so Isabella Rossellini shows up, Nimue there, and she basically goes to Vortigern and is like, "Yo, dude, my boy is in a dungeon, and he's not going to have visions if he doesn't have, like, sunlight and fresh air and can see like trees and talk to nature and shit, right? He's a
Yeah, bruh.
wizard.
Help a wizard out.
Help a wizard out, my man. And so, and then Merlin's let out, and he and Nimue are like, "Hey, girl," and she's like, "Hey, boy," and then he's like, "Hey, girl," and she's like, "Hey, boy," um, and it's great, but
Yes. And they proceed to stroke each other's hands for
they
many a minute.
they do a little pets,
They do a little light petting.
but like literally only that.
Because
Um,
this is a TV PG made for
it's
TV
it's
movie.
TV movie. So Merlin is kind of talking to Nimue and is like, "I'm a wizard, and all this stuff has happened since like the last time I saw you. I was 16 or 17, and you were too, and like I literally haven't seen you in the intervening years." He does some cool hand magic for her, where he like flips the moon like a coin on his hands, which I
Yeah,
always
that's super
loved.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
so great, and this also that one scene where he goes up and looks like he's grabbing the moon in his hand, pulling down the light in his hand, flipping it like a coin, and then when he goes to show it to Nimue, it look up into the sky, and it's just that the moon has had a cloud in front of it.
Surprise, motherfucker, it's still in the sky. The
Still in the
moon
sky.
wasn't in his hand after all.
And
It
she's
was a twick.
It was a twick. And so she is like, "What? Oh my god." And he's like, "It's just an illusion. Like magic." It brings up this larger theme through his character of magic is not real. Magic is always an illusion. There's like
I think he says real magic is real, doesn't he?
he says
He's like,
something like that.
that was just a trick. That was an illusion. Real magic or
Yeah,
magic is real. Magic affects
yes.
the world or
Like
something like
magic
that.
affects the world, but like that's like that stuff that people think of as magic is tricks. That isn't really what magic is. Magic is something
Yeah.
else. And so I don't know, man, what happens next? King Vortigern is
Nimue convinces, yeah,
well, basically all this political bullshit happens, right? And
right.
so there's all these things. Da 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 da. Oh my god, who's on the scene? It's Uther Pendragon. What's his sign? Sigil?
Star-studded man of the motherfucking, well, where does he come from? He's the Britons or something. Anyway, he's a red dragon man.
He's a red dragon man. His thing is the red dragon. And so it's like, oh no, like he's going to blah 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 blah. And so King Vortigern basically like captures and then tries to
The way this
kill
guy, yeah,
what?
the way this guy looks reminds me of Dudley Do Right for some reason. The actor who plays, he's not blonde or anything, but something about his jaw
Who are you
is just
talking
like,
about? Are you talking about Rutger Howard?
no, Uther Pendragon.
Oh!
He looks like a Canadian Mountie King. He's like, I'm here to save the Britons.
That's very funny. I could definitely see him in a flannel with like a Molson's.
Right? He gives off mad lumberjack vibes.
He does. He had the beard for it. But
Mhm.
basically, King Vortigern is like, Mab basically comes to him and is like, what if you just like kill Nimue? And he's like, I can't kill Nimue, you fucking crazy bitch. Like, her father is my ally. And then she's like, but what if he's not? And then she gets Frick to come in after changing form, and he comes in and is like, King Vortigern, send whoever has defected. And so then Vortigern is like, fuck it, kill her. And Mab is like, yes.
Another great little aside, that guy who Frick is playing, who comes in playing one of Vortigern's men, looks an awful lot like Tim Curry
He
to me.
looks
It's
so
not,
much. He
but
looks so much
he
like
has
Tim Curry.
big Tim Curry look, vibe, and energy
He
for
looks
sure.
so much like Tim Curry. It's true. I've always thought that. I'm so happy we're on the same page. So basically, there's a whole thing, and then Nimue is taken and she's tied up outside of a thing somewhere. And then like Merlin, because Queen Mab is like,
A weird thing
let Merlin
with smoke
watch.
coming out of it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, ooh, it's a cave. And then Mab
He
is
likes to
he
watch.
likes to watch. What's that coming out of the cave? It's a fucking dragon.
Bad 90s CG dragon.
It is a
It's
full-size dragon.
scary.
It looks kind of like a fish, a little.
Giant fish
And there's
dragon.
like neck flappies. It's great. But anyway, what happens is this thing comes out And Merlin is like tied up and it basically is like overlooking where Nimue is. So this
Mhm.
dragon comes out and it's gonna like kill Nimue with fire. And so Merlin
That's
is
what dragons do.
that's what
They're
dragons do.
big. They're big into the fire
It's like the
situation. Also
whole
gnawing on people.
it's their whole vibe. It's very
Yeah,
tiring
just
after
a
a while.
just a burn and a nosh.
Just
You
a burn
know,
and a
that's all they're looking for.
So basically, Merlin then is like trying to stop. He's trying to like undo his hands so he can
Hmm.
cast a spell
Oh
to
man,
help Nimue. But what he does
he goes.
instead is he fucking rips a motherfucking tree out of the motherfucking ground.
Yeah, he goes full WWE.
Oh my
Like,
god, it's so good. And then basically, so then his hands are free and he's trying to cast something to stop the fire from engulfing Nimue, but he cannot stop it. Why? Because Mav's a bitch. Um, and so he's trying and
she's a
trying and trying.
mean old Mab.
He is the worst. So he's trying to stop this, but Nimue gets burned really badly. And then, but importantly, in terms of Merlin as a character, he basically is trying to stop the dragon by manipulating the natural world around him, by getting vines to grow up and entangle the dragon, by getting water to fall down and like come down in more of a torrent and all of this stuff. So
Yeah,
he's and that is how his magic is depicted pretty much throughout the whole film, is that he
yeah.
pulls magic from the
Using
natural
the
world. Yeah.
using the natural world around him to are using what plants and water do now already naturally, but forcing it a little bit more to his will or making the plants grow really fast to secure the dragon. Yeah, it's great. He uses
It's
this
awesome.
trickery throughout the rest of the movie, the
Yeah,
film.
the film. And then basically he takes
But sadly, Nimue all burned up. She's got a little crispy little bacon face.
um
But it's only half her face. She's still beautiful on
she's
one side,
she's beautiful on both sides, Evan.
crispy bacon on the other. Beautiful, crispy bacon.
Good lord.
Beautiful, big old pile of crispy horse meat.
Fucking crispy horse
Ah.
meat.
Ah.
She has a real Harvey Dent situation.
It's a testament, though. They do a great
They
job
do
with
a
the
great
makeup,
job
but
with the
she's
makeup.
still beautiful.
Like, she's still
Even
a
with the makeup
gorgeous
on, I'm like,
woman.
I'd hit that.
Dude, she's a
Shit, come
gorgeous woman.
on.
So Merlin takes Nimue to Avalon, the Isle of Avalon, where like there's this like I don't know, Christian
Christian
monastery.
priest?
I think
Yeah.
it's an early Christian monastery and there's nuns and they go and they heal her and stuff. But she basically is like, "Look, dude, I'm not leaving Avalon. I can't face the outside world. I'm like donezo, even though I'm
This is what
still a gorgeous woman."
happens. This is what happens when you're uh grown up in a society where your only worth has been your and value is your beauty. Suddenly you're like, my face, like just go to a trade school, Nimue. Jesus
Jesus
Christ,
fucking
like
Christ, like learn to be a
learn a
bricklayer.
skill, like you
Like,
can do great things with your life,
make a
even with a fucked
cabinet,
up
okay?
face.
Like there's a lot.
Yeah,
There's a lot out
yeah. But
there.
she's like, no one can see
No one
me.
can
Oh
see me.
no.
So then
But
basically
really, it's like I think there's a deeper thing though, where she's like, I don't like in feeling broken in that way. And because she knows that it's her fault that
right.
Vortigern like turns on her father. That I think that she has kind of a deeper like I don't think like Merlin. I don't think I deserve Merlin's
Right.
love. Like
Right.
I choose to read it that way. That there's a deeper
And I think
thing going
And
on.
Merlin's thing is like, "You're the love of my life, and I couldn't save you." Like, I
Yeah.
was there,
They're
and
both
I couldn't
they're
use
both
my
real screwed
magic.
up from this.
They're both
Mhm.
real screwed up. This is like a major inciting incident, and so this is where the really cool water, like, tide
Oh,
coming
yeah,
in
the
fast comes in,
time-lapse photography of
'cause
the water,
he,
yeah.
like, goes out into the, like, flats of the land and is like, "Damn you, Queen Mab!" And does this whole thing, and is basically just like, you killed my mother, you killed fucking Ambrosia, you've hurt Nimue. I fucking hated you before, and now I am going to actively hate you and work to fuck your shit. Get
Yeah, he was
ready.
like, you know what? Tricks are cool, but you know what? It's time to throw out the big guns and start actively like uh turning the wheels of history in my favor to get rid of this spiteful, angry bitch.
Yeah, fuck this bitch. She's a cancer on this world. She must die. So
Yeah,
then,
it's great watching Merlin get mad. Now, this is the end of part 1, is it
oh
not?
fuck me, that's the end of part 1. Oh my god, we talked for so much time about that. We talked for
To
so
be
much
fair, we talked for
time.
like half an hour of just preamble, so it's really only been
I know.
45 minutes, about the length of the first part's episode runtime.
About I know.
This is
So
why filmmakers
sorry.
get paid to,
I'm so sorry.
make it snappy. But I think we talked about a lot of great things, and our commentary is also very important.
I know. I'm like, I really am enjoying our conversation. It's not super structured, but I don't care.
No, no, we're just talking about Merlin. People need to get the deep dive,
Yeah,
man.
man.
A bazinga.
Okay.
So, where were we? We had just finished our synopsis of part 1 of Merlin, the seminal 1998 NBC miniseries. Now we're on to part 2, in which Merlin gets his goat.
And this is
Not
case
a real
study some.
goat.
Um
This is the part where Merlin gets involved in some light to very intense essaying.
essaying?
Essaying. Yeah, like making an essay.
ASSAY? Oh, ESSEAY. Okay.
No,
It was like
S period A period ing sexual assaulting.
no! Oh my god, no, he does not! No, he does not!
Yes, he does. He's involved in it. He doesn't
Okay.
do it.
Oh, sorry.
He's just an accomplice.
Sorry. Hang on. Hang on.
He's a Quentin
Sorry.
Tarantino to
He is
Uther's Harvey Weinstein.
he is 10,000% accomplice in essay. 1,000%. Like, yes.
But that's what you got to do back in the medieval times if you want to make a fucking Britain Jesus.
I mean, yeah, look, it's not great, but basically this part is all the like Merlin just being like, Mab, I'm gonna fuck your shit up however I can. And if I gotta get my hands dirty to do it, I'm gonna take the fucking garbage out. Like, let's go. You're the garbage.
Yeah, this
Mab,
is
I
the part
hate
where
you.
he really he becomes quite the warrior in a lot of ways. He actually starts getting involved in fighting, and B, he becomes very like politically savvy. He
Yeah.
actively starts using his magic and using and occasionally abusing without intending to his power to sort of like gain more control over the fate of the continent or the
Yes.
island, if you
The
will,
island. And
of
he
Britain.
and
The
this is
empire, the kingdom. There we go.
it's not an empire yet.
No, just a
Um
kingdom.
they hadn't yet invented colonialism.
Yeah.
But they're getting there.
Sweet, sweet, wild, ravaging colonialism.
Just that sweet baby C.
Yeah.
So this is
Crusades, then colonialism.
they were like, let's do colonialism part A and then do colonialism part B.
Right.
How's that sound? Guys, we good?
We had to
Everybody?
practice first. Yeah, we had
Like
to make sure that we knew how to do it right.
we had to make
Then we can move
sure
on.
certain that we were good at killing and subjugating people. And then we were like, hold on, let's take this shit global, baby.
That's right. We're going to go get some tea. We're going to go get some
Silk,
people,
get some
some
people.
silk. Gonna do
Jesus
all
Christ.
kinds of awful shit all across the globe. It's gonna be
Whew.
awesome.
Okay, but this is before all of that.
Right. We're talking about Merlin, a
We're
movie
talking about
about
Merlin.
medieval times.
So basically,
When would you say this takes place? I know it's kind of like fairy tale mythology, but like
I mean,
where do you place this in the
okay,
AD of it all?
in the AD of it all. So there is like Geoffrey of Monmouth wrote the first like kind of quote unquote like official story of the Arthurian legend in like the 1300s. But this and that he was kind of calling back to the like 6th century
Hmm.
CE, which would make sense time-wise because the Romans left England and like left Britain in about the 300 CE, 3 something around there. Evan, no, wake up. You asked. You asked.
I
You
asked a
asked,
question.
fucker! I would
Yes,
but
I'm paying
basically
attention. I have questions for the
if
class.
okay, so if you look at
This will be on the
historical
exam.
if you look at actual historical records as
Hmm.
well as folklore and myth and like then kind of recounting of it, it probably this is around like the 400 to 5 or sorry 500 to 600 CE, somewhere in
Yeah.
there.
All right, that
um
makes sense.
more
Just
more or
enough
less,
time for people to lose a grail.
just like a second.
We are have a hard time. They have a hard time locating the actual Constitution in National Treasure, and that's only 200 years old. So, like, what do you do when this thing is like 500 years old? That's twice as much. It's
And
a
look,
long time.
if Mr. Benjamin Franklin, played by Nick Cage, can't find it, fucking nobody can.
Wait, is Ben Franklin played by Nicolas Cage
No,
in that
his
movie?
name in the film is Benjamin.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay. I
Look
only
it
saw it
up
the one
though.
time. I couldn't remember every single detail about it. And also, I don't think they lose the Constitution. They have to like or the Declaration of Independence. They don't lose it. They have to steal it from the National Gallery or wherever they keep it. Also, interestingly enough, the Constitution signed in 1776.
Oh
Did
my
you know
god, I'm
John
awake.
Hancock was
Shut the fuck up!
this will be on the test.
Shut the fuck up!
We have to talk about Merlin.
Stop Merlin!
Merlin. We're talking about Merlin. He's the guy, not talking about the national
Uh.
independence of America. Talking
No!
about Merlin.
Talk about Merlin! Talk about Merlin!
Hands, jazz hands.
Bringing it back. Okay.
But you keep it all inside.
But you keep it all inside. So
So
now,
Merlin,
so
wizard.
Merlin, he's a wizard, and he's doing all this political shit. And now he is basically like, first of all, number 1 on my hit list, Queen Mab. Number 2 on my hit list, fucking King Vortigern. Fuck that guy. I'm gonna go work for this absolutely rapacious sleazebag whose name is King Uther Pendragon.
Yeah.
He is
Which sounds an awful lot like penis dragon, if you ask me.
Uther Pendragon? Oh, Pendragon.
Uther penis dragon, yes. Which
I
is what
will.
I will be calling him because he lets his dick do a lot of his thinking.
He exclusively lets his dick do thinking. He is a
Mm-hmm.
very bad person. So he basically is like, he has this crazy fight, and in anticipation of this crazy fight, Merlin basically goes to the Lady of the Lake and is like, "Yo, dude, your sister's a bitch," and she's like, "Oh my god, right? I
I've
need
been saying that my whole life.
motherfucker. You should have seen her when she was a teenager."
Family
So,
reunions are crazy.
oh my god, could you imagine? So basically,
Who
his
are their parents? Like the Earth?
yeah, they just exist, dude. Don't think about it.
They're
Just
like the sun and the Earth.
yeah,
Dad, could you please come around more? That'd be great if the son is England's deadbeat dad. He never comes around. Just like he never makes it around. They're like, "You came." He's like, "Yeah, but I gotta go again.
but I gotta
See
go.
you later.
Sorry, bye.
Go hang out with your stepfather, Rain."
And they're like, "Oh, we hate him. He makes our
Stepfather's
mom
fine,
fertile, and
but
we hate it."
oh.
So
Anyway, this is a new pitch for a cartoon show that I will never make.
we've come up with a lot of great pitches today. I think we need to acknowledge that. So basically, Merlin is like, "I look, the Lady of the Lake. I need a weapon to protect Britain and basically kill Uther and like save Britain.
Don't you
And
love how these people are it's always like, "I need a weapon" in these ancient stories. It's never like, "Can I" if you're a magical being who can pretty much seems to be able to, like, offer anything that I ask you, like, they never ask for, like, world peace or, like, understanding or, like, everybody just get some fucking mushrooms and just chill the fuck out. It's like,
just chill
"No,
the fuck out.
I need the medieval equivalent of an AK-47." So
Exactly. And which is what Merlin gets in the form of Excalibur.
Excalibur. Yes.
Excalibur. It comes
Sickest sword in the world.
It's the sickest fucking sword.
Oh, we're catching up. Okay, cool. No. Are you there?
I am, but you froze and I couldn't hear you. So I was like, he's not gonna
Well,
talk.
you froze, and I couldn't hear you, so we
Okay,
both
great.
had to wait. So, Merlin gets Excalibur, sickest
Yes.
sword on the planet.
Sickest fucking sword on the planet. So there's this major battle between King Uther and King Vortigern, right?
Yeah, on the ice.
On the ice. And there's blood everywhere, and they're fighting in the snow, and there's like red blood in the snow, and it's like super sick. And
Yeah.
then Merlin, in like full wizard drip, comes out, right?
Oh, yes. After we
Oh,
describe the battle, I think we should take a second for you to talk about the outfits and
oh my
the
god.
costuming, especially
Oh my god.
Merlin's wizard raven cloak or whatever it
Dude,
is.
it's the best. So basically he comes out onto the ice with this amazing sword. And instead of killing King Vortigern, he just like gingerly touches Excalibur to the ice, and then it like cracks open and consumes King Vortigern. And then like everybody's like, "Oh, I guess our main," and everybody's like, "Oh, our main dude's dead. I guess we can like stop fighting or whatever." So like King Uther wins. Like that's how that works, right? Like there's no second in command. I mean, I guess that's the
Yes.
point of authoritarianism, but
It's another great TV-ism where they're
oh,
like,
it
the
is.
king's dead. I guess we're done fighting.
Peace. So then at the like celebratory dinner after this big battle and whatever, and Uther is like, "Hey, I'm the king. I'm all horned up from just killing a
Yeah.
bunch of dudes.
He's
This
100% like, it's good to be the king.
it's good to
He's
be the
full
king."
Mel Brooks
Yeah,
situation going on.
really is. So basically, one of the lords comes up, and what's his name? I don't remember.
It doesn't matter.
It
It's his
doesn't
lady is the
matter.
important
It doesn't
person.
matter because what happens,
You know who also didn't remember his name? Uther. He's like, "What's your wife's name?" I'll remember that.
literally. So this lord and his wife and their daughter come up, and the wife is like, "Hi." Her name is Lady Igraine.
Yes.
Um, she
You grain of salt. That could have been a good pickup line that wouldn't have worked for Uther. So I'm glad he didn't say it, but I did.
I'm gonna do that every time you make a pun. I'm gonna use my fucking soundboard, and I'm gonna make that every time you make a horrible pun. Boing. Um, so Lady Igraine, Uther sees her and is just like 6 to midnight. What is up?
He's just like horned up.
Horned up. It is a what is up? It's my dick
And
moment.
Merlin is all like, "Don't do
Don't.
anything."
He's
And
like,
Uther's like, "But I want to." And Merlin's like, "Don't do it." And Uther's like, "But what if I
"But
did?"
what did I do? And also, importantly, Lady Igraine's daughter is this young
Oh,
child. She's a
yes.
girl, and her name is Morgan. Morgan
Yes.
Le Fay.
The
Huh.
great and powerful
Interesting.
Morgan Le Fay.
Interesting. Keep a pin in that. So basically, Uther loses all sense of objectivity and just goes pussy
Done.
crazy. Like,
Yeah, he goes bananas.
he goes absolutely fucking bananas and is like, "Yo, Merlin, here's the deal. I can't focus on being the ruler of Britain until I get some strange from
Merlin's
one
like,
person."
wank it out, you fucking asshole. Like,
He's like,
do your
"Dude,
fucking job.
dude, do your fucking job. Do your fucking
Uther's like,
job."
can't have it. Gotta have the
Uther's
lady.
Uther's like, "Nah, dude. Nah, dude. I can't. Like, I have to have her. I gotta have her." And Merlin is like, "All right, here's the deal. Imma do you a spell, and, I'll help you get I'll help you out, basically." And so they're riding through the craggy
In
moors
exchange for
in exchange for Excalibur. He says, "Give me Excalibur and I will do a spell," because Merlin has given Uther Excalibur because he's like, "You're the ruler of Britain now," and da da da. So Merlin then
wait, does this hang on a second. This happens before he goes? I was thinking
yeah.
that what Merlin wants is the kid. He's like,
No, no, no.
I'll let you do this.
No, no, no. This is the
All right.
first part. Okay, just
Okay, you remember. You remember.
let me tell my story.
My story, the great and powerful Oz. I
Right.
mean Merlin.
So basically, Merlin is like, "In order to help you get a grain, I'll do a spell for you, but you have to give me Excalibur." And so Uther's like, "Okay, I'm listening."
Worth
And
it.
worth it. And so Merlin takes Excalibur and he like walks up to this beautiful craggy rock and he shoves Excalibur into a stone. And what does that do, Evan? Fucking what does that do?
Oh, that wakes up the man of the mountain, who
Fuck
is
yes, it does.
voiced
Fuck
by
yes, it
James Earl
does.
Jones, and also is another piece of really great visual effects wizardry. I suspect that this one was a creature shop effect. Sidebar: so this movie was very closely the visual effects were very closely tied to the Jim Henson Creature Shop,
Oh, yes.
which was Jim Henson's visual effects unit that was based in England
Mhm.
for tax purposes and because most of the work they could get was over there. This is separate from Muppets, which was in New York, and the Jim
Merlin would
Henson
have
Company
been
in California. But the Creature
Merlin
Shop
wait,
is
Merlin would have been 1,000 times better if Fozzie Bear just like showed up. Wasn't like left. Right?
oh my god,
Amazing. Sorry.
The Muppets in King Arthur's court. Like, are you kidding
Stop.
me?
Stop. Okay, keep
Have
going.
you seen that meme that's going around where it's like, why are they making live action remakes of our favorite um
Put the
our
Muppet.
favorite Disney movies when we have the Muppets right there? Like, live action remake of the Beauty and the Beast with Muppets, and then someone pitches like, yes, everyone, like the Beast, like everyone in the movie is Muppets, but the ugly beast is a human, and the end of
Yes!
the movie is
They're
him,
becoming a
Belle
Muppet!
kissing him, and he becomes a Muppet. I was like, that's incredible.
That's so fucking
I
great.
want that movie. So yeah, the Muppets Merlin would be a fucking yeah. So anyway, the Jim Henson Creature Shop did a lot of the creature effects for this movie. This movie is also directed by Steve Barron, who is famous for doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which is seminal, if you ask me. So I think those
It's
are very
so
cool
good.
facts.
It's so good.
Yeah, yeah. These are two of
It's
my
so good.
favorite movies now.
I know. So basically, the man in the mountain wakes up and is like, "Hey, the fuck, Merlin? Why'd you like poke me, dude? Like, why'd you do this?" And Merlin basically says, "Look, I want you,
I
the
can't
man."
trust this guy.
He's basically like, "This dude's a fucking rapist."
Little
And
fuckboy Uther over here thinks he can get a cool magic sword, and I'm like, nuh-uh, you can't, and you gotta help me.
you better fucking help me, dude, because like this dude sucks. I thought he didn't, but he fucking does. And so he basically is like, you need to hold on to this sword until a good man comes to claim it. And the man in the mountain says, then I will be waiting for a very long time. And it's great. And I love it.
The man in the mountain, I think, might be, besides Merlin,
It's
is probably my favorite character.
probably my
This whole
favorite character. Like,
thing.
very easily my favorite character. So
Yeah.
then Uther is like, what the fuck, bro? And Merlin's like,
You tricked me.
you tricked me. And Merlin is like, shut the fuck up, dude. Here's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Uther's such a frat boy. He's like, man, I did all the cool things I was supposed to for the fraternity. Why don't you give me my Kappa Sigma sweatshirt? And he's like, bro, you didn't deserve it. You suck.
Merlin is like, look, Uther, shut the fuck up. You're the worst. Here's what's gonna
Shutting
happen.
this down.
Yes. And then he's basically like, look, I will do a spell so that you can have Lady Igraine. But in return, you are going to have a child. And I get that child. I get that child to raise. Not you, not Lady Igraine. I get that child.
Yeah.
And so Uther is like, whatever gets me close to that fucking bush.
He's like, bro, I just want to fuck. I don't care about no kid. He's like, I get to fuck her and I don't have to raise the kid. Ah-cha-ching.
He's such a fucker.
Yeah.
So Merlin basically does this spell that makes King Uther look like Lady Igraine's husband. And so when Lady Igraine's husband like leaves the keep to go like, I'm gonna go fight in the da-da-da-da-da, then Merlin casts this spell and is like, look, dude, you got one go at this. And I do mean one. I'm only doing this one time.
So make it count.
Make it count, because also I am aiding and abetting in capital R. You know what I'm saying? So like, don't love this.
Oh, important setup detail. Igraine's daughter, Morgan, is at a celebration and has a little scene with Merlin where she's like, show me some magic. She's got a cute little speech impediment. He's like, show me some magic. And Merlin's like, check this out. Whoosh. And he does some hand magic. And she's like, that's not magic. That's a twick. And he's like, in perfect Sam Neill style, is like, go away.
He
he hates kids. He hates kids so much. He's like, he hates them. What the fuck? Go away.
He's just like, get the fuck out of here.
He just shoos her away, basically. He's like,
go.
Fucking piece of shit. Like, I tried to show you something.
So fuck out of here.
This sets up that Morgan has the ability to see through magic. She kind of has some latent abilities in the magical world herself.
She definitely does. And so when King Uther comes in and is acting like a lunatic,
because he's like real horny, like so horny.
It is like semen is like dripping out of his eyes. He's so horny.
He's like, what is that on your face? He's like, it's not all of the pent up delicious sex juice I've been holding on to for the last 3 months. Get in bed.
Get in bed. And so he is like trying to shoo Morgan out of the room, but Morgan can see that it's King Uther. She can see through the illusion. She knows. And
talk about trauma, dude.
Dude, are you fucking kidding? This poor girl. And so he's like, go away, get out of here. And she's like, Mom, that's not who you think it is. And the mom is like, I'm a wife in medieval Britain. I have 0 sexual freedom. So I guess this is happening.
It's time for the fucking, I guess. So let's get into it.
So basically, what the outcome of that whole situation is Merlin is like, I'm so done with you, dude. I fucking hate you, King Uther. I just want your kid.
Igraine's husband does end up getting killed while he's out, which was part of the deal. He's like, just don't kill her husband. And then Uther's like, fuck that. Kill that motherfucker too. And Merlin's like, I can't do anything with these people.
I know. He's like, you motherfuckers. So basically, Merlin is like, I am so over this. But here's the deal. this child, the child that is the offspring of King Uther and Lady Igraine, is Arthur Pendragon, the like ultimate savior of Britain. He's like Merlin's hope for a capital G, capital K, good king. Just like mwah, he's perfect.
Britain Jesus.
Britain Jesus, he's here to save Britain. So,
Unite the warring tribes. King Arthur Pendragon, being
like,
helped by Merlin, the hand wizard. This is like
I love
DuckTales.
this.
That's what I'm
I
doing.
fucking
I'm
love this.
realizing.
So,
Whew, that one got me.
okay. So
Gotta practice
basically,
with those pipes some more.
I know, come on, man. So basically, Merlin is.
Pendragon! It should be a hair metal band. Coming onto the stage, Pendragon. Okay, I'm done. I promise. I'm not done. I'll keep going, but I'm
I
gonna
was
stop
like,
for
I
now.
fully know that you're not, so don't lie to me. So basically, Merlin is like,
This
you
is what
cannot.
makes the podcast fun. Maybe. TM.
I can't. Merlin takes Arthur and is like, look, I am going to raise this child in like a distant lord's court, and I am going to be his tutor, basically. I am going to raise this kid. And he very importantly does not teach Arthur magic. He teaches him ethics. That's right. Because a good leader has a strong moral character. If anybody out there is listening and wants to take that to the polls in November,
Please. That'd be great.
Please, that would be great. So then Arthur, we kind of fast forward. Arthur is a gentleman that looks not unlike Evan. And
thank you.
You're welcome. He was like white and
flaxen haired
and has a beard and is like a guy.
Defining features.
Yep.
I know. I looked up this guy. He really didn't do much
anything
else besides being. It's like you'd think that being King Arthur would like jumpstart your career,
but not really. Like this was kind of his only, like one of his only credits. But I mean, he does a great job.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, I'd like to see
really
more stuff
great.
with him.
I know. But so when he is like, I don't know, probably like 20-ish, one day he and Merlin are hanging out, and Merlin is like very casually talking to some birds. And
this is a great thing that I wish they described more of in the movie.
I know.
Merlin talks to animals all the time. Also, his horse, Sir Rupert, talks to him. And there's a moment early in the movie where the horse just starts talking. And I was like, what? The horse can talk. As a kid, I was like, they needed to explain that.
There is zero explanation of it, but also I don't fucking care because I love Sir Rupert.
It turns out there is an explanation for it. It turns out there is an explanation for it because in the script, which I have, woo-ha!
I love
this. Is the shooting script of Merlin. There is, early in the movie, in fact, what would be this part of the movie, there is there's a scene where Merlin is literally describing, like, it's so great that I can talk to you horses. And the horses are like, I don't think that this kid has the juice. And Merlin's like, shut the fuck up, Rupert. And Rupert's like, fine, whatever.
I know. Rupert is very sassy, and I like that about him.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a whole scene in this that they cut out of the movie where they're like, by the way, horses can talk and Merlin can hear them and Sir Rupert's his bestest best friend. And I'm like, that should have been in there, but...
That's your whole movie. That's your whole movie.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. But basically, so Arthur shows up and Merlin is like, hi, here's the deal. You are the king of Britain's son.
Quite a thing to have dropped on you, if I do say so myself.
And Merlin is like, I'm sorry, what? Oh, because Uther has died at this point. Uther has passed away. And so Merlin is like, look, dude, here's the deal. We're gonna go because you have to go become king of Britain. And Arthur is like, I'm sorry, could we take it back like 87 steps? And so Merlin
Oh,
is basically, oh yeah, what?
and this sort of begins part 3, right? We've sort of like
Mm-hmm.
Merlin helped
Yes,
Uther. Uther turned out to be a shitty guy.
yes,
Nimue is still trapped away. Mab is still doing her thing.
yes.
Merlin's like, this is not. There's also a great scene at the end of part 2 because in part 2 they kind of realized we kind of forgot about Queen Mab. We kind of had to like do a lot with Uther for this, and Merlin had to do his human stuff. So at the very end of part 2 there's a great scene that's just like, oh right, remember Mab? That's the whole point of what he's fighting to do. And
Also
they're like
magic.
on these two like towering cliffs above
Oh
the ocean, and they're
yeah.
like yelling at each other. He's like, I will defeat you, Queen Mab, and she's like, I'm winning, Merlin. And then like the waves crash and it's magic or whatever.
And
So
it's
anyway,
fucking
that's the
cool.
end of part 2, and
Yes, that's the
now
end of part 2. So now,
Arthur
here we
is
go.
up and running and like ready to
Yes,
become the king of
the
Britain.
king. He is on the scene, and basically everybody in Britain, seemingly, is like, hey, we have to go pull this sword out of a stone, right? That's
Everyone in Britain is a white guy with long hair and also balding on top.
and also a beard.
Yes, don't forget the beard and the robe and the cape.
In case anybody was wondering uh, what kind of stock Evan and I come from, you just described both of us and all of our family.
Yep,
Yep,
a lot of hair and robes.
hair. Oh my god, I love a robe. Anyway, so basically, Arthur is like, look, or sorry, Merlin is like, look, Arthur, here's the deal. All these fucking people are around this sword. It's not a big deal. You just have to pull it out of the stone. And Arthur is like, I mean, okay.
Seems like
What?
everybody else is having a lot of trouble with it, but
Like, seems like
whatever.
nobody else can do that. And so Merlin's like, no, 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 no. Just go ahead. And
You got
so,
this, boy. Go ahead.
yeah, you got this. So then, because Merlin is there, the man in the mountain wakes up and is like, hey, buddy, what's good?
And in
Um,
Mountain Man time, it was probably just like he was like, I
Blink of an eye.
just fell back to sleep. Like,
Yeah,
what
he's
are
like,
you doing?
you fuckers. I just got comfortable with this fucking sword.
I was hoping to sleep for like another eon at least.
And yet
And
here
you
we
guys,
are, bothering me again. And so also Mab shows up at this point and she's
right?
like, Merlin, you bastard. And he's like, no, you're the bastard.
Yeah. And then
So
they have a little
Arthur,
cat fight, and they kind of
yep.
like flatter each other.
So Arthur goes to pull the sword out of the stone. And because Merlin is like, hey, man in the mountain, I found him. Like, I found a good man. Like, I found the one, right? And
Yeah,
then
honestly, in medieval Britain, that was literally all it took. Like, doesn't have to be a great man,
just
just
a
has
good
to
one.
be good. Just like, are you not a raping, pillaging, like lying, conniving, evil, power hungry maniac? It's like, you're good. Let him be king.
Again,
Ethics.
please vote in November.
Right.
So basically Mab is there and she's like, not on my watch, and she like makes the sword super hot, like so that Arthur seemingly will be like, ow, my hands.
A
Um
classic move. Remember when
Classic.
Gandalf the White does that to Aragorn? Aragorn's like when he
Yeah.
thinks he's
Yeah.
Saruman, and he's like, "We're gonna just turn around,
And
don't
he
let him
like,
see you." And then
ah,
everybody else at least gets like Gimli at least gets to like throw his axe, and Legolas at least lets an
like
arrow
lets
fly.
one
But
arrow.
Aragorn's just like, "Ow, it's hot."
Air my fingies.
Stupid.
Stupid. Anyway, but Arthur is victorious. He pulls the sword from the stone in front of everybody, right? Oh my god, he's amazing. Then this whole
And then he
fight,
does a samba.
he just like,
And then everybody gets in a conga line, like ta 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 ta. I'm the king of Britain, and I got the sword. Ha!
yes, that's exactly what happens in the film.
It's weird. I
So
don't know why they put that in there, but
it
everybody's got to
seemed
have their own creative
anachronistic.
voice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seemed anachronistic, but it was also like whatever. It works tonally, and I love it.
Yeah,
I
throw it
love
in
it.
there.
I love
Whatever.
a dance break. Now Arthur is going to court, and everybody is like, I should be the king because I'm his fifth cousin twice removed. I should be the king because my pot belly's bigger and my beard is redder than yours, etc. Then Arthur shows up and he's like, actually, am king. And they're like,
Is me.
no, Isme is king. And they're like, no, you are fucking not, because Uther never had a son. Ha! Gotcha, bitch.
That's right.
And then Merlin is like, are you sure? Rubber? And the guys are like, there was that one time that Uther did a rape with, so it's possible. And then Arthur pulls out Excalibur and fucking cuts the lit wicks off of candles, and they all go floating up to the top of the room, and it's super sick.
And honestly, that's all the proof that they need. They're like,
They're
you know
like,
what?
whoa.
Pretty good. Let's make this guy king. He
Pretty
seems like
good,
a good
pretty
guy.
good.
This guy
Yeah.
seems like a good guy. He can cut the flames off of candles. I never seen nobody else do
He
that.
seems like a good guy. Seems like a good guy.
Yeah, good
Oh,
good guy TM. Good
okay.
king.
Now, we need to go back in time slightly, because
Yes, I was about to say.
when Arthur is being born, Morgan Le Fay is sitting alone, being sad.
Yes. Queen
And
Mab realizes she needs an Arthur of her own. So
yeah,
she puts a mad plan into action with her man Frick, the
yes. And
gnome,
so,
the shape-shifting gnome.
what happens? Frick shows up, right? And he looks very creepy to a small child, I would
He
say.
looks like a gnome, but
He
also, to be
looks like
fair,
a gnome.
Morgan Le Fay is deformed. She has
Yeah,
a different looking face. She's
she
got a
does.
birth defect or something like that.
Something. I don't
So
know.
she's like, no, no problem. Thank
Thank you.
you.
You're welcome anytime. And so Frick shows up because basically Mab is like, I need to fuck with this baby, right? I need
Hmm.
to fuck with this Arthur baby. And so Frick goes and is talking to young Morgan Le Fay and is like, hey, your baby brother's about to be born. And she's like, that's not my real brother. The man who made him wasn't my real father. Because that's how she talks, and it's really cute.
Very adorable.
And so basically, then, to prove that he is magic, Frick becomes Errol Flynn.
Yep. Which makes
Um,
perfect sense.
like the long blonde hair, the swashbuckling shirt, like a 1700s Count of Monte Cristo looking motherfucker.
Yeah, Frick is where the filmmakers really show off that this is a made for TV movie, right? Because, like,
1000%.
no one making a Hollywood movie version would be like, let's turn a gnome into a shit. We have this guy who can shapeshift, like Martin Short. Let's turn him into an old Oriental man, a racist caricature. Let's turn him into Errol Flynn. Like, none of these things are within the purview of the
No.
historical record of this
No.
time, you
Fuck
know?
no. Not a single
So
one.
it's like, but you as a TV watching
Are
audience
like,
member are like, a thing I recognize and is funny.
yes.
Yes, please.
And so basically, Morgan Le Fay is like, oh my God, this is real magic. This is like actual shit. This is the cool shit I've been
Yeah.
looking for.
Morgan's like, I fucks with this.
I fucks with this. So then that kind of plants a seed of Mab interfering with Arthur, and also kind of creating Morgan Le Fay as this like ace in the hole character, right? This like
Mm-hmm.
another kind of foil. So now we're back up to the present moment, right? Back to Morgan Le Fay. She's now older and played by Helena Bonham Carter. Amazing.
Snaps.
Frick shows back up and is like, hey, remember me? And she's like, I thought you were a dream. And he's like, was this a dream? And then becomes Errol Flynn again for some fucking reason. um,
It's like, I can do that.
yeah, he's like, I'm magic, fuck off.
I'm
And
sick
then,
AF.
yeah, and then she's like, well, can you make me beautiful? Which, like, P.S., again, Helena Bonham Carter is a very beautiful woman. I don't care what kind of weird makeup they do. She's still a beautiful woman. But then he, like, makes her, like, full glam, like, Roman goddess, hot babe, Morgan Le Fay. And she is like, now get me the throne.
Yeah, it's great how they're like,
So good.
let's change her whole look and
But
like
not
make her beautiful, but not do the one thing that like also like is clearly makes her different than other people. Like
which
she
is
still
her.
has a speech impediment.
She still fully has a speech impediment.
Yeah.
So then,
Great choice, whoever picked that one out.
honestly, fucking 10 out of 10. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay,
But she shows
Arthur.
up at a little
She shows.
campy camp
She shows
that
up at this
Arthur's
camp
at.
where Arthur's at. Arthur's like just won a battle or something. It's not important. He's
I think he's
celebrating.
just pulled the sword out of the throne, right?
Okay, yeah, he just pulled the sword out of the stone. So he
Yeah.
shows up, or he's there. He's celebrating, right? More
Feeling good. He's
good.
like had a couple tequilas,
Yes.
he's like probably had a little hit of a J. He's like,
Just like
life is good. I'm gonna
life
be
is
the
good.
king. I got the sword.
So then Morgan Le Fay shows up. And the reason she has showed up is because Queen Mab and Frick are like, here's the deal. You there's not a finer way to put this. You have to go incest your brother. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? Actually, wait, I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm
He's like,
crazy.
whatever gets me the throne.
Whatever gets me the throne.
Yes. Let's not forget that Igraine is both of their mothers.
Yes, they have the same mother. They are siblings. So,
and she does a very good job seducing him.
she does.
Importantly, Merlin is away. Merlin, who is always away, wizards are always away when important information that's going to screw up the nice parts of the plot. They're always gone when this shit gets explained to people who could use this information.
Because after Arthur pulls the sword out of the stone, Merlin is like, job done, boys.
He pulls a Gandalf and is like, I got some shit to do over here on the other side of wherever I need to do shit. So
he's like, here's the thing. My work here is done. I am going to be with the love of my life, Nimue, on Avalon because I actually like her, unlike all of you bitches.
The filmmakers are like, remember Nimue? We've got to remind you that Nimue is still there.
She's still there. So Merlin fucks off, right? So Mab is like, perfect. I will.
Yes, he's like, I did what I did. I raised the kid. Now I can go be with the love of my life, and he can like rule Britain and be happy or whatever, and I can be happy too, and we'll all be happy. Hooray! Yay!
And it's done. And then Mab is like, the perfect opportunity for an incest bomb. So she does that. So Morgan shows up and is like, hello. We need rest and provisions. And Arthur is just like, I have never seen a hotter piece of ass.
I've never heard someone talk like that. Where does your accent come from?
What are you?
North Essex.
North Essex. And Arthur does not know who she is.
Mm-mm.
In Arthur's mind, a hot lady has just shown up and wants to get down and dirty.
He's like, I'm the king. What am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do? The hot lady shows up. Morgan fully knows it's her brother. Fully 1000% is like very aware that like, I'm about to have sex with my brother. It's fine because of reason.
She's doing the evil person
She's
thing.
being super evil about it. So the next thing that happens is, right, like, so Morgan and Arthur are having sex. Merlin is all the fuck off way in Avalon.
Mm-hmm.
He
Where they
is
have no electricity.
No one has electricity, Evan. It's the 6th century.
My point is, he has to have candles to light the room that he's in.
Okay, there. I was like, going. I was like, okay. So he's sitting by Nimoy's bedside, and there's a candle and a pool of wax on the table. Evan, would you like to describe what happens next? It is probably both of our one of our favorite parts of this film. Weirdly,
Yeah, Merlin gets another vision, or maybe Mab puts it
it's
in
Mab.
his
Mab is
way.
like sending this to him.
But basically, in the melted candle wax, as Merlin is sitting on his own, shapes and moans, and the sounds of moans start to come out of this wax, and you get like candle wax sex scene. Basically, there's
Like
like
two intertwined
bodies
bodies.
coming out of like the wax in this candle, and it looks so sick and cool.
It looks
It's
so
like,
cool. And then you get Morgan
whoa.
Le Fay's face that comes out and goes, "Oh, fuck," because she has a speech impediment. But
Let's not forget.
it's such a beautiful effect of this kind of, it looks like a wave of these two bodies coming up and then going back down into the candle wax, and then this face coming up and then going back down into the candle wax. Evan thinks it is actually stop motion, and I hope that it is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It seems imperfect in a way that makes me think it was done practically, not as a CGI effect. But I'd love to hear from anybody who has any thoughts or insight into the making of this, because
it is one of those things that I feel like if it was a CGI effect, it would look way worse.
Yeah, exactly.
For the time period. Like, it would not look convincing and really cool.
Yeah.
But
they did something to make it look excellent, like it was candle wax.
It is so good. Like, it is just such a beautiful effect.
Yeah, and it's very haunting too, because clearly Merlin is like, "What the hell have you done, Arthur?"
Yeah, and so
Mab is
then
taunting him, which is cool. So
Arthur
just incested his sister unknowingly. Merlin's aware. Merlin's heading back, and he's like, "I gotta give this kid a big talking to."
Yes, in Camelot, which is the city that Arthur founds.
Yeah, suddenly it's just there. They made it overnight, I guess, somehow. I mean, feasibly, it's the olden time, so maybe it took Merlin a week, but like, that's a pretty, I don't know how they built a city so fast. That was like, wow, Camelot already? All right, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
We got Camelot.
And so Merlin, yeah, it's fine. And Merlin, again, shows up full wizard regalia. And okay, so
he keeps showing up with extra little pieces of his whole outfit throughout the movie, which is so awesome.
So good. So Merlin's regular outfit is just pants and a tunic and boots. And then he has this sick as shit wizard coat. And this wizard coat is like a brown, woolly leather situation that has all these that has some belts on it, but it has this really cool feather collar that kind of looks like it's cockerel feathers on it. They're like a bluish green color, and they're gorgeous.
What's a cockerel?
It's a male chicken. It's a cock.
Ah, cockerel. It's not a cockatoo or a cockatail.
No, it's cockerel.
Every once in a while, you have to take a break just to quote Arrested Development for funsies.
Anytime you're given the opportunity. I mean, why wouldn't you? So, and Merlin has this really cool leather and brass helmet, this Viking Saxon looking shit, and it's cool as fuck. He also gets a staff at this point. He has his fucking wizard staff, and it's cool as shit, and it's all twisty wood up in the thing, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
and he
he's given
looks
full
so good.
on. Yeah, he's given full on like mad dad vibes. He's like, "Did someone here have sex?" He slams his staff
Specifically with
down.
your sister? Question
Yeah.
mark? That
So
seems important.
so he chews Arthur out for that, and he's like, "I didn't know." And he's like, "Well, now we've got a problem." They don't sound like that, but I'm making them sound like that for
They
fun.
don't sound like that. But now Mab has a little side project going on,
Yeah.
right? She has this little side hustle, and the side hustle is Nimue. She goes to Avalon and is like, Nimue, babe, I haven't seen you in years. And Nimue is like, get the fuck out of here. No one likes you.
It's
And
like, I'm suspicious.
I am suspicious. But Mab says, hey, I have the deal of a lifetime for you.
What you got, Mab?
I have a place, a special place that I have made for you and Merlin. And in that place, the two of you can be together. And
Sounds too good to be true, doesn't it?
and I will heal your burned face so you can be the beautiful, amazing woman you've always wanted to be, right? I will essentially, I will make all of your dreams come true. One little caveat. Once you get
Little
there,
bitty thing.
you cannot leave. It will trap you in this world, but you will be with your love and you will look hot. So basically, da-da-da-da, do
Yeah.
that.
Be
And so
moved. Be pretty. Get boned. Don't move anywhere.
it's totally chill. It's a totally chill deal. Trust me, I swear to God.
Yeah, not
So,
evil at all.
Okay, so then also, so that's like the side project that Mab has cooking, but her main
Yeah, she's cooking it
project,
up like a little
the,
chef.
the main project that she has cooking
Yeah,
is
the
this.
entree, if you will.
The entree to the side dish of Nimue. The entree is
And
this.
Nimue's no side dish. You know what I'm talking about?
Nuh-uh, she's a whole damn meal.
Mm-hmm. But
Just,
Mab
just
has plans for Mordred. She's
who
gonna un-Arthur the Arthur Project. She's
she
like,
is
I see
like,
what you did, Merlin, trying to make a son off the king. I'm gonna do the same thing.
yeah, she basically is like, I see your rape baby, and I raise you an incest baby.
Mm-hmm. It's like a classic medieval game of wizard chess.
Classic. It's a classic 1-2 punch.
Mm-hmm.
So Morgan Le Fay has a son who is this absolute fuckwad whose name is Mordred. We hate him. He is the worst. The actor who plays him does a fantastic job of
But we
just
hate him
playing.
too
But we
because
all no, I
we are bad at distinguishing reality from
bad at
fiction.
distinguishing. So Mordred is the antithesis of Arthur in every way. He
For one
is
thing, he's got jet black hair.
obviously, which is the only way that you know he's evil. So
Right.
there's that.
Eyeshadow too. Eyeshadow and dark black hair.
Yes. But where
A man
Arthur
with eyeshadow? He must be evil.
fucking gays got in this one too.
Get him on the drag runway and out of King Arthur's court.
Girl, you better work.
That's right.
So Mordred is the antithesis of Arthur in every way, in that Arthur was raised by Merlin to be like this ethical, upstanding, good man who believes in humanity and believes in hard work and making things right for people and doing the right thing. And Mordred
Likes
is
being
raised
lazy.
Mordred is raised exclusively by magic. Like Mab, Frick, and Morgan Le Fay raise this kid with illusions and magic and tricks and all of this stuff. And also, side note, Morgan Le Fay and Frick then have what can only be assumed to be a sexual relationship, which is real
Awesome?
weird. Okay. We have different takes on it. That's great.
Man, here's my hot take. I think that everybody grows up wanting to have a love story like Merlin and Nimue,'s, but I think most of us end up getting a love story like Morgan and Fricks.
It's
Just
like
two it's like just two fucked up people kind of falling
trying.
for each other and trying to make it work, you know?
Yeah, they're just doing the best they can.
Like, you're kind of evil, I'm kind of evil
Uh,
too. You know
it's
what? But
okay.
you're fucked up, I'm fucked up.
Yeah. And so basically at this point, Mab is like, here's the deal, Mordred. You're basically like the ultimate force against
Yeah, you're Thanos. If you
Arthur.
want to know what Thanos is, do we need to look into the future and see? Okay,
And we'll
this
see
Thanos,
it.
he's bad. He does the power
And
thing, and
that's
he's
you.
bad, and that's
And
you.
that's you.
Cool.
Okay. So
Darth
here
Vader,
we go.
you.
Yes? Got it? Okay.
Voldemort, you.
You.
Got it. Good.
Okay. Saruman?
Jeffrey
Also you.
Epstein, you.
Also you. It's all you.
Yeah.
And
What's his fuck who
important
runs Facebook? You.
Mark Zuckerberg?
Zuckerberg?
You.
Yeah.
Elon Musk? You.
Elon Musk is a little better.
Is he? He's a
Oh,
transphobic white nationalist.
he's better at being a metaphor for
Horrible.
evil,
Oh,
horrible
got it.
people
Oh,
than
sorry. I
Zuckerberg
was
is.
like, who
Zuckerberg's
is
good
this?
too, but he's more just like a dumb frat boy. Elon
Yeah,
Musk is like
actually evil.
actually fucking weird and evil.
Yes. Okay, so let's see here. By this point, uh Arthur has gotten married to Guinevere, played by dun da da da.
Cersei Lannister. I mean, Lena Headey.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I was so
Um,
surprised when I
I
watched it this time. I was
know.
like, "What, Lena? What the what? I
What
didn't
the
remember
fuck,
her
dude?
being in this."
She looks exactly the same.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly the same. So they're married, right? Great, whatever.
Guinevere, Arthur. He's like, she pretty. He's like, he's the king. Seems good to me. Let's do this.
So after they get married, Arthur says basically, here's the deal. I have to, and there's literally no way around it. There is nothing else I can do. The only thing I can possibly do
To
is go hunt
unite
for the
all
Holy
the
Grail.
to unite all the people of Britain is too.
I have to go get the Holy Grail. Boom, bop, bot. I gotta go do it. Here's the deal.
And they do set this up a little bit because Nimue is a Christian,
Yes,
and
Nimue
early
is a
on in
Christian.
the movie, she gives a kind of quick recounting of like Avalon and the missing and how the Grail was held there and how it went missing and someone stole it, and it's the thing that can unite all of Britain to
Yes,
kind of like bring this gift of Christ to
yes,
the Christian people of
yes.
Britain and make everybody be like, Britain's fucking sick. We got the Grail, bitch. Woo!
Woo!
Or like, we're gonna party down.
They were
So
like, here's
they
the
do a good job of setting it up and being like, the
they do
Grail is the thing that is gonna be the thing that gets all the people to like unite under
to
one king
get
and be
under
like
here
cool and not
because
be warring tribes of feudal people anymore.
there is nothing that the British people love more than going to the Middle East, stealing shit, bringing it back, and being like, "What? This has always been ours."
It was just we just found it. We
It
just
was
found
just
it.
here. It was just
I
here.
mean, I don't know what to tell you. We just kind of went over there. Yeah, we killed some people. Kind of a lot of people. Kind of a whole hell of a lot of people. I mean,
It was fine.
but the stuff was there. What were we gonna do? Just leave it? Oh, come
What are
on.
you gonna do? Just leave it there as a fucking cup. We're just sell you a cup on the ground. You pick it up and take it home.
I know it's
Arthur,
crazy to be like, oh, the Holy Grail, which was used by Jesus of Nazareth in Jerusalem, made it to England, and then somebody took it. Oh, okay. Let's go. Where could it have? It could literally have gone anywhere in the world from Britain. Let's
the
go
whole
back
entire
to the
world.
Middle East, where it probably was the whole time.
I think what we're saying here is there's like a lot of plot holes in the Bible. Just saying.
Yeah, not Merlin though. Merlin is
No, never
razor
Merlin.
sharp, super tight.
Super tight. Arthur is going to go find the Holy Grail, right? He's decided this. But he
Just get to
is
be the
like,
king.
he's like, well, look, I'm a reasonable guy. I have to have somebody that rules Camelot in my place while I go gallivanting.
Yes.
Because
And I need
obviously,
them to protect my wife and keep an eye
yes,
on her
keep an eye on
24/7.
her. Because also, there's no way that my wife can keep it locked down. Like, cannot rule. No, there's no way. Must be a man. So we got to go get a man.
She's too hot and probably dumb. I don't really know because I don't talk to her a whole lot.
I don't really chat. Like, we're trying to make an heir, and that's sort of the extent of our relationship.
I know the movie it's too bad. It kind of skips past the sort of like Arthur and Guinevere kind of like any kind of love story. They're like they're good together, but there's a million other movies and stories
There's
that
a
take. So
million other
maybe they
movies
were like,
about
we're focused. Like this is about Merlin. Like everybody knows, everybody
that.
gets it. Arthur,
We
Guinevere,
get it. We get it.
Lancelot,
We get it.
you got it.
We get it. So Merlin is trying to help Arthur find this person. And he goes to the Lady of the Lake and is basically like,
Again, jeez,
again,
always going to this lady.
fucking, here's the deal. Women
She's like the
always,
landlord of England. He's like,
I know.
I broke a light. Can you fix it? He's like, oh my god.
Oh my fucking god, this guy. I think it's just another great example of like women have been fixing men's problems since time immemorial.
Yeah,
That's
since
really what
before
it
the
is.
dawn of time.
Since before the dawn of time. And she says, look, here's the deal. Get on this magic boat, because also I have magic boats. Get on this magic boat, go over to this island, and you're gonna find the guy there. You're gonna find the right man to guard Camelot.
Yeah.
And he's
No
like, great.
address.
No. Did you
No
not
like
hear?
name. No resume.
Did you not hear me say it's a magic boat?
Right.
Obviously,
like,
everything is taken care of.
yeah. A magic boat to the Lady of the Lake is probably just like, I'm gonna get you an Uber. Hang on a second.
Yeah, she's like, hold on, let me like, I gotta go talk to some pipe and this like, boop, 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 boop. Here we go. It's done. Merlin finds this guy. Who is it, you ask? It's Lancelot, Sir Lancelot.
Heard of this guy at all in mythology or anything else?
So he leaves his wife and his son Galahad behind to go basically protect Camelot. Great, lovely. Arthur fucks off to find the Grail.
That he does.
Lancelot
and Guinevere are left all alone.
They are
in
left
Camelot.
all alone.
Look out.
And Arthur and like Merlin's there too, but mostly it is like Guinevere and Lancelot being like, what's up? And it's like, well, nothing. What's up with you? Oh my god, nothing. What are you doing?
This part's great too. I think like this really speaks to like the. I think they do a really great job of continuing to develop Merlin's character, like his character development is
Yeah.
good, is what I'm trying to say. Because the lesson he learned, which is not exactly the right lesson from helping Uther, is that like people in power like shouldn't be fucking willy-nilly, you know?
No.
He's like,
Keep
I
it
don't
locked
care if
down.
he's like, I don't care if you guys are in love, like you can't do nothing, you know? Instead of like a actual person would probably be like, Guinevere, tell me about your feelings so we can chat about this and like figure out a
Dude.
solution, you know?
Nah, dude.
He's just like, don't do it, you know, which is great because like he learned a lesson from Uther, but it's the wrong lesson, you know. He's like, these two are actually in love, it would seem, but he can't, but like he cannot like. He can't allow that to happen. He's like, humans are just gonna keep fucking up and doing human shit, dude. Like, we can't have that. Arthur's the man.
Like, no fucking. He is like, if I'm not fucking, nobody's fucking.
Yeah, he's kind of a
He's a
mad
little
dad in
salty.
that way too. Yeah.
I know, he's a little salty. So basically he is trying to tell Guinevere, like, do not do anything. Like, do not have sex with Lancelot. Like, don't do it. I don't care.
Shut
But
it down.
shut it down. Lock that pussy up, girl. But what does she do? She is like, Lancelot, here's the key. Open for business.
Yeah, meow, Lancelot.
And because Mab is a fucking bitch, she sends Lancelot's wife a like mirror, like prescient image thing of
Yes.
Lancelot and Guinevere fucking, which PS, super hot. They seem like they're having a great time.
It's not as cool as the candle sex
It's not as
wax.
cool as the
The candle
candle
wax
sex.
sex.
But
That's
also, like,
unfortunate.
she
They were like,
Mab
we
has
ran
to,
out of budget. It's time to have just normal sex in the mirror.
but also Mab has to be a little bit more direct because she's like, look, babe, you're not gonna get subtle signs. You need to like see your husband fucking another woman, right? Cool.
Yeah.
So Lancelot's wife kills herself, as one does.
I thought she died of a broken heart.
Oh, I always thought she killed herself.
I'm pretty sure she dies of a broken heart. But honestly,
Sure.
that's probably what that's a euphemism for. Like, oh, she died of a broken heart, aka she took a knife and stabbed it through her chest.
Right, exactly. Yeah, she broke her heart with a dagger.
Yeah. It was very dramatic. There was a lot of blood.
Okay. It's very traumatic. There's a lot of blood. Okay, so now this has happened, right? Merlin is pissed. He is pissed.
He's not happy.
He's not happy.
He's a mean old zaddy.
He
Wizard
is.
zaddy. A
Wait.
wizzaddy? That doesn't sound good.
A waddy.
Whiz
Oh, I hate that
zaddy.
more. I hate
Wad-
that more.
That's even worse.
I hate waddy way more.
No waddies. Get waddy stricken from the record. The whackard. Ay.
Ah.
Does that
Okay.
count as a pun? I'll take it. I'll take it.
Take it. So now, who's that coming over the hill, coming over the horizon? It's Arthur. He's got a rakish beard. He has been gone for I don't fucking know how long, a long fucking time it would seem, because I don't know how long it takes to get from Britain to Jerusalem, Britain, which is an island, to Jerusalem in the Middle East on horseback.
It's a long time. He was gone for a while. Yeah.
Okay, he comes back. He's like, I'm back, baby. I did not find the grail. Whoops.
Oopsie.
However, hi friends, I'm back. I'm the king now. It's me. I'm back. Also, like, low-key, where is Lancelot? Why is he not here?
Where's my wife? Where's Lancelot? Where's
what's going on?
everybody?
Go! Boom! Open the doors. Who comes in? It's fucking Mordred. This fucking bitch. Right? I hate him. I hate him so much.
Arthur's only son so far.
Arthur's only son. And he's like, guess what? I'm your fucking son, man. You fucked your sister, my mom. Oh, P.S. Mab killed her. No big deal. I didn't even like her.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Oh yeah, Mab kills Morgan, and
Mab
another
kills
scene
Morgan.
that happened.
It's very sad, and she and Frick like are actually really in love, and it's really sweet, and it's very sad.
It's a heartbreaking scene.
It's like, am I
like
beautiful?
they both look ugly again. He's a gnome, and she's like back to her
like,
ugly face. She's like, "Am I pretty?" And he's like, "You're gorgeous, the best." Blah blah blah. And then she dies, and Frick is like,
dies.
I hate you, Mab.
And then Frick is basically like, Mab should die.
Yeah, he's on Merlin's side of the argument now.
He switches teams real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
killing the love of your life will do that.
It super does. Mordred's there, and Mordred is like, here's the thing, daddy uncle.
Dadunkle?
Your wife. Dadunkle? Dunkle?
Dunkle's better.
Dadicle.
No. Stricken from the record yet again. Yeah, hard pass.
No dadicles? All right.
No
It's not
dadicles.
like dad testicles. So
Exactly.
he's like, here's the thing. Your fucking wifey has been stepping out on you. Mer, mer, mer.
Wah, wah.
Arthur says, look, that sucks. I'm super mad about it. And this is a matter between my wife and I. Mordred says, no, it's fucking not. You're the king. It's treason that she cheated on you.
And
You
everybody
should.
else is like, he's right. He's right. We haven't
They're
killed a
like,
woman in a while, so we should kill this one for
they're
that.
like, hold on, guys. I fucking love burning women at the stake. So like,
That
chop
sounds
chop.
like
You
a
know what
lot
I'm
of
saying?
fun.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
great day. So Arthur is like, fuck, I can't get out of this, like, at all. Like, I have to kill my wife.
He's a political prisoner.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to. I mean, she seems fine, question mark. But, like, I don't want to kill her. Like, I'm not a bad dude. I don't want to kill this woman. But he does. He sets her
He
to
does.
burn at the stake.
He super does.
At which point, Merlin calls down the rain.
Yes.
Like,
Arthur's like,
wash
you
the
know
flame.
what? You know what? I changed my mind. Can you please just like put the fire out, Merlin? Like,
could you
this
just
is stupid and evil.
help, please? Please help. Please help. And
Merlin's
then
like, okay.
as the rain is coming down, Lancelot rides in on a white horse and he like takes Guinevere and they ride out of the story forever. And it's great. Now, Mordred.
The long and the short of this, I think, is that Arthur and Mordred hate each other forever now.
Because they fucking should. Mordred is the worst.
So Mordred Bash 2.0. This is like
Mordred
a monster
do?
truck rally at the county fairgrounds,
man,
hosted by Mayor Morgan. Mordred Hate Fest.
Yes. What does Mordred do?
What does he do?
He says, obviously, like, I should be king, you should not be king. And half the people in the court are like, no, Arthur should be king. And the other half are like, I don't know, this guy seems fucking terrible. We should put him on the throne.
Yeah. We like a horrible tyrant every once in a while.
We love a horrible tyrant. It's awesome. We're loving it. It's amazing.
Go vote in November.
Go vote in November, please. Please go vote in November. It's really important. At this point, Merlin, after like like helping Guinevere, is again just like, I don't want to do this anymore, guys. Like,
I'm not down. I don't like it.
I got word from Nimue. She has this awesome place that we can go be together, and like, I'm gonna do that. So bye. Right? And he like gets to this amazing place, and Nimue is there, and she looks beautiful and ethereal, and it's this wonderful, idyllic place that they get to be together, just the two of them. And they're having a great time, and it's amazing, and they're in love, and da-da-da. And then Merlin is like, I feel a change in the wind. What's
he says
that?
some wizard shit.
He says some wizard shit. The reason that he feels that is because Mordred and Arthur are now going to have a full-on war with each other, against each other, right? And Merlin is like, fuck, my boy's about to die. And Mab is like, my boy's about to kill your boy. Fuck you, Merlin. I fucking hate you. And he's like, Mab, I fucking hate you more. Suck my dick. And she's like, no, suck my dick. And they hate each other.
They're just being catty little queens through this whole
catty
movie.
Little queens. They really are.
Yeah, I gotta kill your guy. No, not my guy. Kill your guy first. It's like two kids playing with their toys.
It really
two
is.
boys just being like, my soldiers, get your soldiers.
The only thing that I will say that is good about Mordred is in this like final battle scene, which is really cool. It's like a forest. It's covered in mist. It's really awesome. Dudes are fighting everywhere. Mordred has this sick as fuck helmet that has like dragon wings on the side of it, and it's all black.
Yeah. That thing is cool.
Sick as shit.
Awesome. Yeah.
It looks so good.
He looks like medieval Batman or something. It's awesome.
He does, and it's the best. Except for him, he's the worst. So, da-da, Mordred and Arthur kill each other. That's like
Nice.
the crescendo, right?
Yeah. They're
Merlin's
like,
last
oh, my dad. And he's like, oh, my son. But I hate you. But I hate you too.
hate you. And then they kill each
Whoops.
other. So,
Yeah.
that's Merlin's last hope for Britain. That's Mab's last hope for Britain.
Yar.
And because Merlin has left the place with Nimue, the like gateway door thing is shut. And Nimue is now, for all intents and purposes, fully gone. Like off this plane of existence. She is behind
Dunzo.
a magical shield made by Queen Mab. Nobody's getting to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Merlin knows that, like, fuck, if I leave Nimue, like, I can't ever see her again, but I have to go try and save Arthur, which he does. He loses the girl. He tries to save the kid. The kid dies anyway. It sucks big time. Wah, wah, wah.
Wow, wow, wow.
Now, cut to Merlin finding Queen Mab in the room where the round table is in Camelot.
Yes,
Holy fuck.
that's right. Mm-hmm.
He is so pissed.
Yeah, he's pretty mad. He's a mad zaddy.
Is so pissed. They are both very mad. Like, very
yeah,
mad.
She does this great. Oh, and throughout this last course portion of the movie, like Mab's, it's been insinuated that Mab is like starting to lose her powers, so she's getting more desperate. And it's great because pieces of her dress start to kind of like go away, or like they become more faded. Like
her
they
hair
do some
turns
kind of
gray. Like
they do
putting
some
like
kind
gray
of
extensions in her hair.
yeah, and they do some treatment to her dress that like drains it of its color. I mean, they
Yeah.
probably just added white cloth or whatever, but like it looks really cool. It looks like the
Yes.
saturation is getting pulled out of her dress, and
Yes.
it's a little bit more
Yes.
tattered, but in like a cool way. And yeah,
Yes.
it's very cool.
And part of that is because Arthur is a Christian king, and Mordred was sort of going to be bringing back the old ways.
Mm-hmm.
But Camelot is a Christian city, and so because of that, because fewer and fewer people are believe in Mab, her power is waning. If you've ever read American Gods by Neil Gaiman, this is a great concept of godhood, that like the more you believe in a god, the more power that they have, and when you take that belief away, they become weaker, which is what's happening to Mab. So now
it's like money. It's like a thing we all agree is real, but isn't really actually real.
It's not like real. So they have a fight, and it is sick as shit.
It's time for wizard fight. Wizard fight in the
wizard fight.
Wizard fight in the round table room. It's awesome.
It's
everybody in the
so
court is
sick.
like, let's order some pizza. This is gonna be sick.
Yeah. And it's like the wizard battle we've all been waiting for. There are fireballs.
After all the other horrible CGI of the griffins and the fairies and the dragon, it's like these fireballs are pretty cool. They're like actually blowing some shit up. This is sick.
And Mab makes her fingers into arrows and then like shoots them at Merlin, and he makes a fucking like shield and is like throwing fireballs back.
He goes full Captain America.
He goes full on, and he is like, look, dude, I am just as powerful as you. I am just as mad as you. Like, we can do this. And then Reason wins out because she is like losing it. You can see her just like losing her grip on things.
It's like she has little electrical cords that are like on the fritz. She's like, nothing's working anymore.
Nothing is working.
My poor robot heart is running out of juice.
Yes. And so Merlin basically is like, hold on a second. I'm a man of reason. I don't have to fight you. The ultimate way to defeat you for once and for all is to just forget you, and to have the people of Britain just forget you, because you're not important.
You.
He basically becomes Beyonce and is like, everything you own in a box to the left, to the left, to the left, everything you own in a box to the left. And just is like, fucking bye, bitch. Right? And so that's kind of where his story arc like ends. We go back to the beginning. He's an old man in a square telling his story. And,
Hmm.
you know, he's lost Arthur, who's kind of his son. He's lost the love of his life, Nimue. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have magic anymore. Magic goes away. Like magic
Yeah.
in Britain is gone,
I
you
love
know?
this part of the story because it hits home that this is a tragedy, right? It hits home that,
Yeah.
like, Merlin is he lived a whole life of, and it hits home to anybody who's like tried to do a good thing and had it backfire on you. Like,
Yes.
he tried to have so much control and to do good things for Britain, but ultimately sort of trusting humans was the thing that, I mean, humans are gonna gonna human. It's like,
Yeah.
I think at the end, it's like things were gonna happen regardless of what you did, but like you trying to control the situation and trying to like man the steering wheel of history of Britain have sort of like destroyed any capacity you have to um
Yeah.
lead a normal life, like,
Yeah,
and
you
it's
don't
true, like all the people that he held on to are kind of gone because of his actions. In a way, he tried to play God in a lot of ways and lost all the things, and it's very tragic to see him go through that at the end of this story.
right, and also, and I think it's important to note, like, if you're a fan of the, like, kind of traditional Arthurian myth, that is how Merlin's story always ends. Merlin's
Hmm.
story ends with he is trapped in a cave. He is enchanted. He is killed. Like
Hmm.
it ends at the low point. It ends with him having lost everything and then that's it. That's
Yeah,
where his story ends.
yeah.
But
But this is a 90s TV movie. We
in the
can't end
90s
it
movie.
there.
So basically, Merlin is just like this old man. He's telling his story. He's ending his story. And he's just like, okay, well, hey, give me a penny for my story,
Oh
guys.
yeah, it turns out that he's like telling his story to a bunch of like little kids in a courtyard in some peasant town or something.
Yeah. And he's just like a storyteller for money.
Like, that guy was, why did he keep talking for 2.5 hours? That was crazy.
That's so much time. There was no other entertainment. That was all they had.
This is true. Yeah. No
Now,
TV?
the crowd parts. And as the crowd is dispersing, an old familiar face is in the crowd. Who is that? Why, it's Frick.
Fwick.
Frick. And Frick is like, hey man, what's
Merlin.
up?
What up?
And Merlin is like, oh my god, Frick. And one
Yeah.
of the things that I love is
They hug
Frick's
like mob bosses. They're like, good to see you. How
like,
you doing? All right.
one of the things that I love is that Frick says something along the lines of like, oh, I liked your story, but you I don't remember a lot of that happening that way. And Merlin is like, nobody would believe it if I told them how it really happened. Kind of implying it was like maybe more magical than it was. Who knows? Um,
I I realized that I've taken that with me. I have a thing. I don't know if I got this from somewhere, but I feel like maybe it came from this. But I have something that I like to say where I'm like,
oh,
a good story is worth. Um, I forget the vocabulary word. Oh my god,
riveting
hyperbolizing.
radio.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Describe around it.
Hyperbolizing.
Overstating,
Overstating.
hyperbolizing,
Huh?
hyperbolize. I'm like trying to think of what's is a similar word to hyperbolizing.
It's like embellishing. A good
Embellishing.
a good story is worth embellishing.
Yes.
Meaning, like, if it's a good story, make it even better.
Make it even better.
Just tell a couple little lies here and there. It's fine.
It's called storytelling, okay, guys? It's not called story truthing, so fuck off.
Is it implied that telling is the opposite of truthing? No, I like that. That's a good one. We'll keep. Yeah, I'm gonna use that one.
Here's the fun fact, Evan. Sometimes I just say shit.
Me too.
So I know.
What's the point of this podcast? We keep on saying shit. We'll just say some shit over and over until it's over.
The whole thing. Okay. Where did I? Okay. So Merlin and Frick are talking, and Merlin is like, "Oh my god, I haven't seen you in so long. How's it going?" And Frick is basically like, "Hey,
guess what?
As Queen Mab's hold on the world fell away and her magic dissipated."
As Queen Mab's hole fell away.
Oh, duh! Oh, duh!
That's what I heard.
As her vagina fell out of her body.
Because the magic people do the old ways. Oh, man. I couldn't keep a grip on it.
Pelvic floor health is really important if you happen to have a uterus, because that shit can prolapse and literally fall out of your vagina. Fun fact that I learned, unfortunately, that you just get the ute. You can just get the fucking ute scoot sometimes. It just like whoop whoop whoop.
Things I don't want to know.
Pelvic floor health. Okay.
It is good though. Don't sit down too much.
Good to know.
Your intestines can fall out of your butthole.
Yes, and so Frick is basically like, as a let's just left turn back into the film after you just fall out of your butthole. I was about to
Frick.
I was about to just like
steamroll through that one.
Steamroll it, and then I was like, did that motherfucker just say your uterus can fall out of your butthole?
No, I said your intestines can fall out of your... Other things can fall out of your uterus, but your intestines can't fall out of your butthole.
What else can fall out of your uterus besides a baby? There's nothing in there.
Right.
Oh my god.
Can babies fall out of buttholes? Yes, so Frick.
Okay.
Hard turns. Woo!
Frick basically says, Merlin, my man, guess who I just saw? And Merlin's like, who the fuck did you just see? And he's like, Nimue.
And your old high school girlfriend.
You know that fucking high school girl, even though I know you're like 85 and shit, and you haven't seen her for presumably at least 40 years.
I actually think that Merlin is probably like 50 years old in those scenes. People aged very fast in medieval times. They were like, if you got to 60 years old, you were like a very lucky person.
He's like, I'm 32.
Yeah, he's like Hans Moleman in The Simpsons. I'm 35.
So and then Frick is like, do you know who knows where Nimue is? And Merlin's like, no, who? And Frick is like, fucking Sir Rupert! I found him in a field, bitch! Your talking horse, your best friend, the fucking goat of this whole movie. Here he is. It's Sir Rupert.
Yeah, who has criminally fewer scenes than he ought to have in this movie.
This entire film should be a buddy cop movie of Merlin and Sir Rupert doing magic across Britain. That's what the whole film should be.
I would watch that I would watch that Saturday morning cartoon.
Everybody would. It's a perfect show. Now, Merlin then is like, oh fuck, I'm gonna go find my lady love. So he goes to this cute place where Nimue was left, and she has this cute little cabin.
Oh, right, because Mab's magic has like been fading over the years or something. Yeah,
exactly. So it's dissolved, and so the hold that was like keeping Nimue there is dissolved, basically. And so she's like, "Oh my god, the world." So Merlin shows up, And Isabella Rossellini is like in super aged makeup, which again, I cannot overstate how great the makeup department did on the old people makeup. They did a great job.
Yeah,
Just
she still looks hot
stunning.
too.
She still looks fucking sexy as shit, man. I mean, I was like, God damn. I was like, am I into gilfs? Don't know.
I am
Merlin,
into this one.
I'm into this one. Merlin and Nimue see each other, and it's like, oh my God, I've missed you. Like, we should have had this whole life together, but we didn't. And they reunite, uh, and Merlin is like, hey, I have I have one trick left.
Yes, I think I've got one
I think
final
I've got
trick
one trick
left.
left. And he basically like, wait, it's this and this. So he like
He does
puts his
some
hand in
sweet
front of his
little
face.
hand magic, yeah,
He
on their
does some hand
faces.
magic on their faces and basically like de-ages them
Hmm.
to be the age they were when they were separated. And then they just like walk into their little hut, presumably to bone for days.
I was gonna say, because as old people, they were probably like, our bones are gonna crack if we try to
You're
enter each
quite
other.
up if you try that position, Merlin.
Yeah, reverse wizard girl. Not for me. I'm just like, is it just a trick? Like, do they still have old people bodies under there? And are they just gonna like still be cracking hips and trying not to fall over?
I choose to believe that I choose to believe that it's like they basically just get they get like a reset to be like
Yeah.
35 again and just
Hmm.
like go with it. And that's
Totally.
where it ends. Merlin gets a happy ending, literally and figuratively and sexually.
Is Nimue into that? She seems like a nice girl.
She seems like she would do handies, but not BJ's.
Right.
She's the daughter of a lord, after all.
This
She's
is true.
proper.
Yeah, yeah, no. Merlin chose wisely when he fell in
Yeah.
love. He's like,
He's
I got a
like,
classy lady.
I got a classy lady, but like once a year on my birthday. Oh fuck.
So that's
Um,
Merlin.
that's Merlin.
One of our favorite movies of our childhood, one that
God,
we
I love
bonded
this.
over early. It is
I
really,
just
really
love
good.
it. I just
Watching
love
it
it.
again, I noticed, as a kid, I was so much more obsessed with like the magic. And so, like, when it came to the Camelot part where there's not a lot of magic, I was like, skip it. I don't care.
Boring.
But, and to be fair, they do kind of, it feels a little like in part two that they're kind of fast forwarding through the sort of like Arthur,
Yeah.
Camelot,
Well,
Guinevere, Lancelot situation. But I
because
did get a lot out of it this time. I was like, they do a pretty good job of like establishing Camelot and making it always feel like there's a big hole in the proceedings when Merlin is gone. It's like if Merlin wants to have a hold on things, he has to like be there to do it, and he can't like and anytime it's like once you've set the wheels in motion, dude, you got to see it through. You can't just like fuck off and expect it to all work out.
right, exactly, exactly. And it's
If you're going to control freak, you got to keep control freaking because otherwise the whole system falls apart.
truly uh unless you're our mother and you're listening, that's not true. So, and I think too what's interesting about this is that in so much, of this like legend being told, Arthur is the main character and Merlin is a footnote. Where it's like there's this magical guy, but really and that kind of comes from the larger early Christian narratives of like, oh, Arthur came and he, tore
All
down
over the
paganism.
place.
He did. He came all over the place. He came a lot.
Most kings do.
No, but Camelot. Camelot?
Came a lot.
Came a lot.
All right, that's the best one. You win. You win. My three are not better than your one.
You. So, but that whole narrative of like, Arthur is the king of Britain. He's the Christian king of Britain. He brought Christianity. He's searching for the Grail. He's civilizing Britain. All of that narrative is such a big piece of the story. And then there's like this weird footnote of like, oh, and Merlin was there and he was like kind of magic or whatever, but like we don't really know.
Yeah.
But he's the most interesting character because again, he's a fucking wizard.
Yeah.
So I
It's
really
cool
I
that
love
this
this.
movie took it to that place of like, let's make the whole thing about Merlin, because clearly he's going to be cool to he's going to give us a lot of opportunities to flex our 90s TV special effects muscles.
Yeah, and I think for me, one of the things that I consciously or subconsciously took away from this as a kid and watching it again as an adult was the profound reverence and connection that Merlin has with the natural world and how important that is to him and how central that is to everything that he does. Of like, he is trying to work with nature instead of against it, and he is trying to work with the world instead of against it. And when he does work against humans, he fails, but when he works with nature, he succeeds.
Yeah, totally. When he works with the natural world, it works out much better.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great.
Those are some good thoughts and takeaways. Oh wait, can I record something just to lead into that? So that was Merlin. Let's talk about our thoughts and takeaways from this movie. And we already did that basically.
Yes. Do you want to do a vibe check?
So, vibe check? Is it time for a vibe check?
It's time for a
vibe check. The vibe check.
Vibe check.
All right, that's the segment starter now, forever and always.
Yes!
Vibe check! Yeah, this movie, okay, so to introduce this system of reviews, we don't intend on doing a traditional review, although if you're interested in my review of this movie, you can find me, Evan Koehne, Koehne, on LetterBoxd and read my reviews of these movies. I'm sure I'll be posting them as we put them up.
Nerd. Keep going.
I am a cinephile, damn it. But we wanted to talk about, okay, these movies that we're going to be talking about. Most importantly, how are the vibes? Do the vibes check out? Do you feel good watching it? Do you feel all right?
That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the vibe, right? And it's kind of the scale that we've talked about is sort of, okay, what was it? It was
well, also the other portion is like just the story in general. Does the story slap? Does it feel good? Do you like do you follow what's going on? Because there's a lot of movies that have, great vibes, but no story. And there's other movies that have great story, but no vibes. There's movies that have a good story and, minimal vibes. And there's some movies with great vibes and, good story. Not great. And I suppose there are movies with no vibes and no stories, but that's just a sad state of affairs.
And that's called a Michael Bay film.
Ayo!
I watched a shit hole of a movie last night. And
Which one? What did you watch?
It was some fucking movie on Netflix. I watched Six Underground.
Oh,
it's like an action movie, and I was like,
oh man, they have the 2019 Hellboy movie on Netflix. You should have watched that.
I know, but I was like, I don't know. I just kind of want like a silly movie for a Friday night. And it was so bad that I had to watch the whole film to be like, am I crazy or does this really suck?
That's a completionist attitude if I ever heard one.
Yeah, and guess what? It just really sucked.
Guess what?
And then the final title card, like the final credits rolled, and it was like directed by Michael Bay, and I was like, there it is.
That makes sense.
There it
Vibe
is.
check. Bad. But back to Merlin. when it comes to Merlin vibe checking, I'm gonna give it. So I'm gonna say good story, great vibes. Like there's moments where like I think they do a great job with the character development of Merlin, and they kind of there's a lot of characters in this, so it makes sense. You can't
Jesus.
totally service all of them to the best ability, with especially with only a minimal 3-hour runtime. But but then as far as vibes, like, I mean, there's a reason we picked this movie for our pilot episode.
God.
Like, to me,
Oh,
vibes are at 100, man. Like, it's
yes.
all good vibes. It feels good. I love being in this world. Sam Neill, definitive Merlin. He's like vibing hard in every scene he's in, just bringing the like wizard zaddy
Yes.
energy, being mean to little kids, being trying to take care of business in Britain.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, good story, great vibes. Love
I
Merlin, always
I
will.
yeah, I think I'm in the same camp. I think I'm in the same camp. Now, wait, am I? I'm like, is it a great story? You know what?
Yeah, you can absolutely
I'm
give it
gonna go
great
great.
story.
I'm gonna go great story, great
Ooh,
vibes. I'm gonna do great story, great vibes.
bump it up.
This is an important film to me. It's an important story to me, and it's
Hmm.
uh,
A legend, if you will.
a legend, if you will. So yeah, I'm gonna go great vibes, great story on this one.
Heck yeah.
So go
It
watch
feels,
Merlin.
yeah. You can find it on Amazon Prime Video,
Yep,
right?
Amazon Prime, all 3 parts. Go check it out.
And get this, there is also a 3-part miniseries sequel called Merlin's Apprentice that I have watched the first 30 minutes of.
What?
Uh, Yeah, did I not tell you this? There's like they made a whole other one. It's like that
Evan,
section
Evan,
between the
Evan.
end where he
Nope.
defeats Queen Mab and he becomes an old man. He like, I'm gonna go to my cave, my crystal cave, and fall asleep. And he like falls asleep for 10 years and wakes up and he's like a little older. He's like 50 or whatever. And then he's like, everything's changed. I have to help Britain again. And then he gets some like wizard apprentice kid to help him out. I'm like,
Okay,
this is wild. How did I not know this existed?
okay, Evan. This is
Yes.
for some inside baseball for you listeners. This is the fourth time we have recorded this episode. One, two, three, four. This is the fourth
And
time
we've
we've
had a lot
recorded
of
this
we've had
episode.
a lot of technical difficulties,
A lot of
and
technical difficulties.
but this is definitive.
This is definitive. We have talked about this podcast a lot just between the two of us, and Merlin more specifically. No, you have never told me about Merlin's Apprentice, and how dare you? If I
I
could
must have
disown
been
you, I
saving
would.
it. I must have been saving it for this episode. So
I'm kidding. I would never
eventually we
disown
will.
you, but I
Yes,
will.
you might kill me, but not disown me.
Oh, never. But like, yeah, I'll slap you next time I see you in person. I'll slap you in the face.
Perfect. I'm
All
into
right.
it.
Well, yeah. So check out Evan on LetterBoxd. Evan
Yes.
Koehne,
Yes.
Koehne. If
I
you're
look
a
forward to my Merlin review.
because you don't have one right now.
No, I don't want to get people's hopes up. I mean, I started my social media life on Letterboxd, like writing long reviews and being very
For
serious because my college.
3 to 5 sentences. 3 to 5 sentences.
Yeah, honestly, nowadays, like, I was bringing my whole history of film history and theory like from college with me, but these days, honestly, it's just my letterbox is for laughs now.
As it should be. Do it for
I
the
have
lulz.
5 reviews of Twisters up. All of them involve how angry I am that there's no cow flying through a tornado in the movie.
The new movie Twisters with an S. You have
Yeah.
5
It's
reviews.
twins! Oh my god, I love that movie so much, which is not reflected in my letterbox reviews, all 1 star, but I think that's what it deserves. That's
You've
it's
done 5 1-star reviews of Twisters.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You have a
And they
degree
all
in film theory.
correct. That's what I went to school for. Look, Twisters gets low marks because they did not have a cow flying through
Is
a
that
fucking
literally it?
tornado. That was my only criteria for getting it above 1 star, and it did not pass.
Oh my god. Please
You
go
had
check.
one job, Twisters. You had one job. Give me the cow flying through the tornado from the original movie that I love.
Oh my god.
Twisters is
Okay.
great if you want to see what it's like when an autistic woman and a sociopathic man have a thing for each other, and that thing is tornadoes. This movie is crazy. I love it.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It's great. No, honestly, I vacillate. I go between being like, it's a 1 star movie. No, it's 5 stars. It's incredible. It's everything that America is supposed to be. I'm like, no, it sucks. There's no cow.
If you want to know what it is like, not only being Evan's friend, but being his sibling, you've just heard it. It's exactly that. Uh,
1 star reviews of Twisters. That's what I can offer to any
Offer.
friendship.
I love that. I love that.
Hmm. Family and
Check
friends.
check Evan out on LetterBoxd. You can find our YouTube channel if you would like to watch us be idiots at Brother Sibling Movie on YouTube, all one word. You can find us on Instagram at Brother Sibling Movie, all one word. You can find me on Instagram at Lawn Daddy Lives Here. I think there are underscores between the words.
Yes. And you can
Lawn
find
Daddy.
me. Sorry, if you
No,
finish.
go ahead. Go. You
No,
go.
no,
You
no, no.
go.
You say
I don't
that
actually.
Wanda.
I don't actually know what my Instagram handle is. I think it's lawn underscore daddy underscore lives underscore here, but I don't know if that's true.
Somebody needs to take a digital marketing class.
I run our marketing department. I run
Make it
our
easy
department
for
at work.
people to find you.
I fucking run a marketing team. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Don't let the great and kind people of the organic farming industry know but that.
Don't worry, they'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out eventually in like another 20 years. Like, Meredith, for 2 decades, we thought you were great at your job, but it turns out you were bullshitting us.
Turns out you were
Thanks
bullshitting
for
the whole time, and
Thank
I'm like,
you for running our profits through the roof and making our company a huge success. But it
yeah,
had nothing to
I
do with your
was
job performance.
no, I was fully bullshitting 100% of the time. 100% of the time. No clue what was going on.
Yeah. You can find me on all the socials. Instagram and YouTube are the ones I use most frequently as Art of Evan K. On Instagram, that's at Art of Evan K. You can also go to my website, artofevank.com, where you can see my art and my films.
You should hire Evan. He's a very good filmmaker and a great writer and is good at animating and has a very punchable face if that is something that you look for in your employees.
You know what? If you hire me, you get 1 punch in the face. I'll write it into the contract. Asterisk, no, I will not.
Oh, I was like, "Wait, can I hire you?"
You get a kick in the butt, but that's the family discount.
Oh, that's the family discount.
Friends and family,
Yes,
yeah.
I guess I'll take it. I wish you had a bigger ass to kick, but that's fine.
I know our
I'll take what I
genetic
can get.
pool. Our genetic pool really breeds them
Long and
pokey.
lean.
Yep, I was gonna
Long
say
and
small and
lean.
pokey. Yeah.
Yeah, just
If we're on your lap, it's gonna feel like an
it
Iron Maiden.
you are gonna feel it.
Hmm.
Uh,
It won't be pleasant, and then your intestines will slip out of your butthole.
when I after I had top surgery was the first time I was like, "So I'm like I don't have a big skeleton, huh?" Like
And they
I
were
just
like,
and
"No, honey."
and everybody was like, "Yeah, you're like very small. We do not know how you were walking around with those things." I was like, "I often wasn't. I would just spontaneously fall over." Like,
Boop.
well, because I have small feet
Hmm.
for my height. I have small feet. I'm tall-ish, and I
Mhm.
used to have huge tits, and it was just, like, a structurally unsound situation, and I would just literally, I'm not kidding, tip over forward
Yeah.
sometimes.
You're like a Frank Gehry building, just
I
built
was!
for
It was like
aesthetics, not for, stability.
absolutely not, but then, yeah, once I had top surgery, I was like, "So crazy, I stopped falling over randomly," and everybody was like
That's good. Now you just stub your toes on things.
and, like, cut myself open with routers and, you
Right.
know, drop I
You
dropped
ruin your you ruin your body in other ways.
yeah, I dropped a hammer on my foot the other day.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it's okay though, I was not wearing shoes.
Oh, man. Well, it's better than intestines coming out of your butt.
It's always better than intestines coming out of your butt. Okay, we love you so much!
This has been Brother Sibling Movie. Thank you so much for joining us for our very first primer episode. We hope to see you next time.
Bye!
Bye.